We welcome you to JetBlue Park at Fenway South. A beautiful night in Fort Myers as spring training baseball continues. The Grapefruit League schedule. The Red Sox and Twins tonight from Fort Myers. The Red Sox fans and Twins fans ready to go. We welcome you inside JetBlue Park, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Our friends from Fox Sports North are alongside again tonight. And we welcome voice of the Minnesota Twins, Dick Bramer.
Don, both teams know that if you don't have good starting pitching, it can really ruin your season. That, in a nutshell, is what happened to both the Red Sox and the Twins last year. The Twins and Red Sox are hoping to have some stability in the rotation, like the stability our analysts provided. A handful of teams in his 23-year Hall of Fame career, going back to 1970, his rookie year, the American League Rookie Pitcher of the Year. Bounced around a couple of different teams, won a World Series with Pittsburgh, but most notably came back to Minnesota and was part of a World Championship Ball Club in 1987. And so we welcome Bert Blyleven to the broadcast booth here tonight. And Bert, it is true, and I don't think the Red Sox fans or Twins fans needed to be reminded, but if you don't have good starting pitching, you really don't have much of a chance.
Yeah, it's all about pitching. You can have all the offense in the world, but both these clubs over the winter, how do we get better? And usually it goes by the starting rotation. Vance Worley, he got the nod for the opening day starter. He's new with the Twins. As the starter tonight, Kevin Correa signing a 2-year contract with the Twins from the Pirate organization. This guy is not overpowering. He's struggled a little bit so far here this spring, but what he's looking for tonight, give me 5-6 good innings. Get deep into the ball game. The same thing for the Boston Red Sox starter, that being Clayton Buchholz. Buchholz having an outstanding spring. This is one guy that the Red Sox really need him to step up along with John Lester as the two workhorses for the Red Sox.
Should be a lot of fun tonight. The Red Sox and Twins. Just a couple of spring training games left. We're back with this one right after this. Welcome back to JetBlue Park at Fenway South. Red Sox and Twins getting ready as we send it down to field level, and Leah Hextall.
Thank you so much, Don. Well, the Red Sox getting closer to their opening day roster, but there are still some decisions to be made. And earlier today, manager John Farrell stating that the window on Stephen Drew for opening day may be closing, and it looks like that it has officially closed as the Sox made some moves today. Stephen Drew being put on the 7-day DL. He has been suffering from concussion-like symptoms. Farrell hoping to have him back for the second game of the regular season. He will remain in Florida taking on-field batting practice, also grounding some balls. Obviously, a frustrating thing for the Sox shortstop. Also optioned Daniel Bard, the right-hander, going to Double-A Portland, and infielders Brock Holt and Mauro Gomez going to Triple-A Pawtucket. Now, we want to hear from you tonight about the Sox roster moves, so please join the conversation on Twitter and use the hashtag roster moves. We're keeping it simple, and the best and brightest, we will field them throughout the ball game. So can't wait to hear what not only Sox fans have to say, but also Twins fans.
Well, thank you, Leah. Let's take a look at the Twins' batting order, with Aaron Hicks having won the center field battle, the starting center field job for the Twins. He'll be followed by Joe Mauer doing the catching. Josh Willingham hitting third. Justin Morneau was scratched about a half hour before game time. Chris Parmalee will hit cleanup and play first base. Ryan Domet, Trevor Plouffe, Wilkin Ramirez, simply put, hit his way onto the Twins roster, hitting at .444. Eduardo Escobar and Pedro Florimon will play the middle infield and hit 8 and 9.
Clay Buchholz on the hill for the Red Sox tonight. A very good spring so far for Buchholz, 2-0 with a 0.96 earned run average. And again, this is his 6th start of the spring. His pace has been remarkably quick so far, and John Farrell likes what he sees so far during the spring.
That's one thing that you have to look at Buchholz and say, you know, sometimes he took a little bit too much time, and that kind of hurts your defense as we look at the defense behind him. And again, you want good starting pitching. You want that pitcher to work quick. The outfield with Gomes, Ellsbury, and Victorino. Middlebrooks having a very good spring at third base. Iglesias at short. Of course, Dustin Pedroia, outstanding second baseman. Mike Napoli at first base, where he'll see most of his time. David Ross behind the plate tonight to catch Clay Buchholz.
Well, another beautiful night tonight in Fort Myers. Of course, both these teams train in Fort Myers, and the Red Sox need just one win of these next 3 games to wrap up the Mayor's Cup, which is always a big thing. I know you guys take it very seriously.
Yes, we do.
Well, we shouldn't, because I don't think we won it the last few years, have we?
Yeah, but we'd like it back.
70 degrees to begin the ball game tonight. There's the last rays of sunshine in the outfield and right center. Lights are on here at JetBlue Park, and Clay Buchholz ready to work to Aaron Hicks, who leads it off. And Aaron Hicks, of course, last year playing for the New Britain Rockcats, and this guy jumping to the major leagues, and Ron Gardenhire announcing that he will be the starting center fielder. And just the question for you both, is this a surprise for you guys, or did this appear very early on in spring training to be the way it was going to go?
Well, there were 3 guys coming in, Darren Mastroianni, Joe Benson, and Aaron Hicks, that were really fighting for that spot. Mastroianni, I think, so valuable because he could play all 3 outfield positions. Joe Benson, you know, he had injuries last year that kind of hurt him a little bit, but Aaron Hicks kind of stepped up.
In retrospect, it seems like the competition was set up for Hicks to succeed, to separate himself from the other 2 guys, and he did that. He's hit the ball well. He's played well in the field. Where Joe Benson, who was sent down to the minor leagues after an injury plagued season last year, will get a chance to reestablish himself as a prospect. Hicks just took advantage of the opportunity. That's what you want your young players to do.
I think what you're going to see is Hicks maybe struggle a little bit at the beginning because he's going to face guys like Clay Buchholz, and there's a good fastball right there. Buchholz, when he is on, a very good fastball in the low 90s, excellent curveball. He mixes in a slider and an outstanding changeup. There's that fastball that starts middle in and then working the corner of the plate. These are things that Hicks have to put in the back of his mind because he's going to see major league pitching from here on out, you know, going into the season. So he's got to learn the pitchers quick.
Well, Hicks strikes out to get it started. Here is Joe Mauer, who's had a fantastic spring, hitting at .462 during the spring. He is 12 for 26 in spring training for the Twins. The pace is something we both mentioned off the top, Bert, in this. The Red Sox last couple of years, the way Josh Beckett went about things, very slow, and a lot of the guys seem to follow suit. And now this year, John Farrell, Juan Nieves wants everybody working quickly. Of course, Juan Nieves coming over from the Chicago White Sox, where Don Cooper has that whole staff working quick over the years. And so far, it has paid instant dividends during the spring.
Well, I tell you what, that's the biggest thing. As a pitcher, you want to get that ball. You want to look at the sign. And what's going to happen is that your infielders, outfielders, they're going to be ready on every pitch just like that rather than somebody walking around them out. Get that ball, let it fly. I came up watching Bob Gibson pitch. You know, here's a guy that worked quick. Sandy Koufax was the same way growing up in Southern California. So get the sign, get the ball over the plate, let your defense help you out.
Well, David Ross doing the catching for Clay Buchholz tonight. I mentioned Juan Nieves should be joining us in the bottom of the second inning in tonight's broadcast. He's done a great job so far with the pitching staff, and we highlighted the rotations for both these 2 teams. And Red Sox so far looking good rotation-wise, and Buchholz are bringing 0-2. And that'll miss for ball 1, 1-2. Just the last couple of days, the Twins announcing their opening day starter.
Vance Worley, who started yesterday, as John Lester did for the Red Sox, will be the opening day starter Monday against Justin Verlander of the Tigers. And these final starts are important not just for the pitchers, but for the guy in the batter's box. Joe Mauer missed a couple of weeks with the WBC. He's got a new pitching staff to learn. And so this start tonight against Correa, not only important for Correa, but also for Correa and Mauer working in tandem as battery mates, because they haven't had that much opportunity.
Bert, how big a deal is that for a catcher to learn these new guys that he's going to be working with? How long do you think it'll take?
Yeah, we have talked to Joe Mauer on the air about that, and it's very important. He wants to know, what did these guys like to throw on a 3-1 pitch, a 2-2 pitch? What are the different situations, and what does he see to make that pitcher better? It's hard. It's kind of like an all-star catcher, going to go to an all-star game and all of a sudden catch major league pitching. You would like to know what kind of stuff they have. Some guys like to throw a breaking ball when they're behind in the sign. Some guys like to throw changeups.
Iglesias around the bag at second. His throw in time to get Mauer. There are 2 outs in the inning. Well, Leah Hextall giving us the update. A lot of people talking about Daniel Bard. We kind of wondered whether he would be on the team this year coming in. And John Farrell stressed that he wanted to see some consistency from Bard that he had not seen in the past on the other side when he was managing the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's something he did not see this year. They sent him all the way to Double-A. And I guess it's sort of starting over for a guy like Daniel Bard, having to be so successful. At one point, arguably the best 8th inning man in the league, and now to be going all the way back to Double-A to try to figure it out.
It's not a matter of where. Now, where is your Double-A?
Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine, and your AAA is?
Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Pawtucket, so the weather is almost the same.
Yes.
Maybe just going down there and just try to clear his mind, just go out and pitch. Don't worry about, where you're at. I know the Toronto Blue Jay organization, they sent a lot of guys down to Dunedin because the weather is a little bit more friendly to where guys can work out a little bit more. So, Double-A, Triple-A, it doesn't matter. He needs to get some innings in. Doesn't matter where he's at.
Doesn't it speak to how deep the Boston bullpen is that an arm like Daniel Bard's is not going to break camp with the team?
It is amazing, and he has been erratic over the last year plus, which is an issue for him. But I think Clayton Mortensen is a name that seems to surface. He's out of options this time of year. If you're out of options, somebody's going to take you if you're out there and available, and I think this may mean that he has perhaps made the team.
Well, again, you mentioned it. Bard has been inconsistent, so go back down. It's kind of like a varsity basketball player going down to JV just so he can play. Right. Bard needs mound time, and maybe he won't get that in Boston, so send him out, let him find his confidence again. It's just a matter of probably mind over matter for Josh Bard.
You mentioned Toronto, and Roy Halladay, of course, went all the way back to A-ball in Dunedin before he figured it out.
And they just did that with Ricky Romero.
Yeah. Yes. 2-2 pitch is just going to miss. Framed by Ross. Couple close pitches that Clay Buchholz wanted.
Well, again, working quick, but good fastball. Look at Ross's glove. Very close pitch right there, but it goes Willingham's way.
Willingham, another guy having a good spring, getting at .333 during the spring. And Buchholz ends up losing him.
Well, another very close pitch right there. Looked like he went to the slider and just missed down and away. Buchholz, 6 major league seasons, 46 wins. Very good 3.92 ERA in 105 major league starts. Boston, and we mentioned it, they want him to get back to where he was in 2010. He had the back problems in 2011. Last year had some injuries that kind of pushed him aside a little bit, missed some time. But this is one of the guys that could be a workhorse for the Red Sox as the season continues. And you need a couple, 2-3 workhorses. If you could do that, hopefully you'll get in the postseason.
Chris Parmelee moving around in the order as the announcement coming down right before the game that Justin Morneau would not be in the starting lineup. Some back stiffness taking him out of the lineup, so Parmelee moves from right field to first base to take over for Morneau, and that's in the 4th spot for Ron Gardenhire.
And the word used regarding Morneau and his back situation was mild, so it doesn't appear that it's anything serious. Twins have a couple more games here with Boston. Morneau will probably play at least one of those, and then hopefully the Twins would have him in the lineup on Monday.
In there for strike 2. Well, you guys will.
There's that good curveball right there by Buchholz. He has a good curveball. Get ahead with the fastball, but watch the tightness of this breaking ball right there. Good downward plane, almost 12-6 as you look at your clock at home.
Well, certainly a guy who knows a lot about curveballs, and that's the Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven, who you're hearing from tonight. Along with Dick Bramer, our friends from Fox Sports North with us. Lee Hextall also, as the 0-2 pitch is outside. It's 1-2.
You know, to throw a good curveball, you really have to have good extension, and that's one thing Buchholz does a good job of getting over the ball. What I mean by that is he really gets on top of that ball and brings it down quickly. Everybody holds it differently, but the whole idea is to make that ball tumble out of your hand.
I had no idea that sitting up here was so dangerous next to him.
You
being
could get hurt.
Yes.
They gave me a baseball. You're in trouble. Boy, again, just missing.
Toby Basner has the plate tonight for the umpires, and there have been some very good pitches, and that one included.
Do you want the game to be quick? Let's go open up that strike zone early. You know, make the guy swing the bat.
This from a former pitcher.
Yeah, amen.
Parmalee will foul it off and stay alive.
Good changeup right there. Good location by Buchholz. Straight over the top. Look at the downward plane, and really Parmalee, all he saw was the top of that ball, and he just fouled it off to keep the bat going. Parmalee, a guy that is normally a first baseman, now he's going to start this season in right field for the Twins.
Lifts the fly ball out to deep right center field. Ellsbury has room and time and makes the catch shy of the track. That ends the top of the first inning. So the Twins don't score. The Red Sox are coming up from JetBlue Park. Welcome back to JetBlue Park at Fenway South. Twins don't score. The Red Sox coming up in the bottom of the first inning. Let's check out the Red Sox starting nine. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off in center field. Daniel Nava, the DH. Dustin Pedroia at second base, bats third with Mike Napoli at first base. Will Middlebrooks at third base. Shane Victorino back in the lineup for the Red Sox in right field. Johnny Gomes will start in left field and bat seventh. David Ross does the catching, batting eighth. And Jose Iglesias at shortstop will bat ninth.
One of the new Twins pitchers, Kevin Correa, hoping for his best outing of the spring. The Twins have gotten that from a couple of other new pitchers. Mike Pelfrey, Vance Worley came up with his best outing yesterday. He's the opening day starter, and Kevin Correa figures to be number 2 out of the chute Wednesday afternoon against the Tigers, pitching in the American League for the very first time.
Yeah, really, all three starters, Worley, Correa, and Pelfrey, all coming from the National League.
How big a deal is that, you think, Bert, coming over now to the American League? I know Interleague exists, and they've seen some of these hitters, but there's a difference in the AL, it appears.
You know, that was brought up in another telecast that we had. I feel that it's to the pitcher's advantage because hitters don't know Correa. I know with Interleague play, you get to see him a little bit, but if you can make your pitches and establish a strike zone early, I think the advantage goes to the pitcher. Because hitters don't know exactly what he has. You can look at all the video you want, but is it a fastball that explodes? Is it a fastball that sinks? It's going to take some at-bats for the Boston Red Sox, say, against Correa to find out exactly what kind of stuff he has.
You know, Jacoby Ellsbury back in the Red Sox lineup tonight after jamming his ankle on Sunday in a game in Clearwater, and he lines this into right center field for a base hit. Wilkin Ramirez over to play it, and not hesitating at all was Ellsbury, and into second base with a double. So he takes advantage of what normally would be a base hit, but he never hesitated and gets into second.
Wow, this is good hitting right here. You can see that look like a good sinking fastball, just taking it over the head of the second baseman. But you can see Ramirez a little late getting there, and Ellsbury, as soon as he rounded first base, that's what made it right there. The hustle from home plate around first, and then it's his decision if he could make it or not, and with his speed, no problem.
Ramirez looked like he had trouble tracking that ball looking into the sun, and he played it a little stretched what looked like a single into a double, and then later scored the game's first run on a ground ball.
Well, very similar here at JetBlue Park as it is at Fenway Park. The sun field is in right field. No difference there. And a look at what Wilkin Ramirez sees through the roof and the top of the press box area in between.
Now, in 10 minutes or so, there won't be an issue, but it looks like Ramirez, you can see right there. I think he had a tough time following the flight of that ball.
I know the sunglasses look good on the top of his hat.
I was just going to ask you that.
Why wouldn't he just put them on?
Maybe all about the look, though. You may be right. Shading his eyes out there as Daniel Nava bats with the runner at second, nobody out in the Boston first inning.
You know, if he moves about 5 steps to his left, there's a shadow. Maybe you can step in that shadow.
And you got the outfield coach all over you. You're out of position.
See the shadow right there. You can go hide in that shadow. It's got to be a bear right there to try to pick up the ball. Now he put him on, and he said, you know what? That didn't work.
Well, Daniel Nava, who has been playing first base for the Red Sox and outfield, is used as the DH tonight. And a broken back grounder by the mound towards short. Florimone with the throw to first base against Nava as Ellsbury takes third base. One down.
Wow, good at bat by Nava right there because he's able to advance the runner, Ellsbury, from second to third. Look at the barrel of the bat. Correa just trying to get out of the way, but Florimone has only one play. So a good at bat, even though Nava's 0 for 1. It's a productive out. Let's take a look at the Twins defensively. An area where there's a lot of new faces for the Twins at new positions, and they're trying to firm up. You got Willingham, Hicks, the new center fielder, Ramirez taking over for Parmalee because of Justin's sore back. Parmalee moves to first, Escobar at second, Florimone at short, and then you got Trevor Plouffe at third, and Joe Mauer behind the plate.
So one down, Ellsbury 90 feet away at third base, and Dustin Pedroia the batter. 275 spring training average for Dustin. He's 14 for 51 in the spring and sends one foul down the right field line. You guys open up at home, correct? It could be a little chilly.
Yeah, they are saying partly cloudy skies. This is, of course, the first season opener outdoors for the Twins since 1981, and it will be the first day of April. And they're saying partly cloudy and a high temperature of 34 degrees.
I thought that was an April Fool's joke that they were going to play that game, but it's on the schedule.
Well, the Red Sox have 19 home games during the month of April. As we take a look at the upcoming games for the Minnesota Twins, there is the April 1st game that you mentioned. The Tigers will be in town, but it's off to Baltimore and then to Kansas City as part of the same road trip.
You can see April 2nd is an open date. And there's been some discussion, not amongst the Twins people, but fans wondering whether the Twins might postpone opening day to Tuesday. But the high temperature on Tuesday is only supposed to be 38. So the Twins aren't going to postpone the opener just to pick up 4 degrees.
We had that at the old Met when I used to play at the old Met back in the 70s. So, you know, Minnesota fans, I mean, they're tough. They're going to wear extra apparel. And, you know, as a player, hey, you're going to be so pumped up anyway for opening day. It doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees or 30 degrees. You want to play baseball and start the season after a long spring training. Remember, spring training started, February 12th?
And it's been long for you. You've been all over the place. Japan and everywhere else.
Taiwan, Japan, San Francisco. Thank goodness the Dutch team did very well in the WBC.
Ground ball softly by the mound. Escobar will go to first for the out, but the run scores as Ellsbury comes in from third, and the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead.
That's all you want right there. You know, Pedroia, even though it looked like a nasty pitch away, didn't try to do too much with the infield back. He'll take that RBI. Boston takes a 1-0 lead. Look at the pitch. Pretty good pitch, but Pedroia, knowing that the infield's back, just make contact, get it on the ground, and it gives the Red Sox a 1-0 lead.
Again, as it was a week and a half ago, Red Sox got a run, not because Ellsbury got a base hit, but because he alertly saw Ramirez tentatively going after the ball and turned it into a double, and 2 ground balls later, there you have it, 1-0.
You can't beat hustle, huh?
Now, Bert Blyleven, the Hall of Famer, with us tonight. And, Bert, I want to ask you about your experience as a pitching coach in the Netherlands and the WBC experience for you. What was it like?
Well, it was outstanding. You know, I was a pitching coach 4 years ago when we actually beat the Dominican Republic, the winners this year, twice. We kind of got them upset because they didn't lose a game this year. So they figured, you know, if the Dutch beat us 4 years ago, we better pick it up a little bit. And they went 8-0 in the WBC. But we did get to the finals, the Dutch team. A lot of our players from Curacao. Hensley Mullins was our manager. They call him Bam Bam. He's a hitting coach for the San Francisco Giants. Did a great job of recruiting these young kids. You guys have one, Bogarts.
Xander Bogaerts.
In your system, had a very, very good WBC for us. So a lot of young, talented kids. I enjoy the WBC. It gives me a chance to go back on the field and talk pitching a little bit.
What do you think about the timing of it? That's been a lot of conversation about WBC. Is there better time for it, or do you think it's right where it should be?
I think it's right where it should be. You know, maybe they can shorten a little bit. We had a lot of off days. Shorten a little bit, but you know, our team, we went from Arizona to Taiwan to Japan, back to Arizona, San Francisco. The Dutch team flew over 15,000 miles in about maybe 2 weeks. So a lot of flying. We were tired.
Coming from a pitching standpoint, I mean, your thoughts on a pitcher pitching that way, especially for the American team, some of the other teams that are involved that are not that far into spring training.
I'll tell you what, you're never going to get the experience that some of these young kids did in Taiwan and Japan as far as the crowd. It was exciting.
We will talk more about it. It is 1-0 Boston at the end of one.
Red Sox get a first inning run thanks to Jacoby Ellsbury's aggressive base running. And one of our Twitter questions involves someone who was in the Boston organization. Now he has made the Twins 25-man roster. Ryan Presley, who was a Rule 5 pickup by the Twins. He made a very positive early impression in Twins camp. And Bert, one of the things the Twins like about him, who I think he's maybe found himself, his role as a relief pitcher as he throws straight downhill.
And he's had an outstanding spring. Again, a Rule 5 player. He has to stay with a club or go be offered back at the end of spring training to the Boston Red Sox for half of the price of $50,000. By my California math, that's $25,000, correct?
Very good, yes.
Okay, very good.
And Presley last year was principally a starter in Class A ball at Salem, and he was promoted to Double-A, had success as a relief pitcher. The Twins really liked what they saw of him in the Arizona Fall League and picked him away from the Red Sox.
Ryan Doumit leading it off here in the second inning. As the Red Sox grab a run in the bottom of the first inning, Doumit, Plouffe, and Ramirez to face Buchholz. Buchholz, who was frustrated by some non-strike calls in the first inning, but battled his way through. Now taking a look at his hand a little bit as that last delivery missed.
Well, you build up calluses when you throw that baseball. Maybe a little bit of a callus, as long as it doesn't become a blister, that's okay. That looked like an off-speed pitch right there at 85 miles an hour. And that's what you like to see, from a pitcher, is that in a fastball situation, 2-0, trust your other stuff. And Buchholz right there, very good changeup.
This one rolled over, foul. Do you like what you see from Clay Buchholz over the years, having watched him from the other side?
I like the way that his tempo is now. I'm glad that, Juan Nieves came in and sped him up a little bit. I thought he was a little bit slow, walking around the mound a little bit, and now he seems to, get the sign, be ready. Again, you're going to have better defense behind you.
Another close pitch and a full count now.
See, even though the umpire is not calling that right now, you have to continue your thought process of working that ball in. He struck out Hicks on that two-seamer that came back over the plate. He tried that right there against Ryan Doumit, but missed a little bit inside. You keep pounding there. Eventually, hopefully, a home plate umpire will open up the strike zone a little bit.
Mentally, how do you not get frustrated at this point? You're throwing so many more pitches than you think you need to.
Yeah, I mean, you want your catcher, maybe Ross, to say something to the umpire. Hey, we need that pitch. That's a good pitch right there. You never want to show up the umpire on the mound by raising your hands or really saying anything. It's up to the catcher. When his mask, is on, he can talk to that umpire as much as he can.
And Don, hasn't that been an issue with Buchholz, getting flustered out there when things haven't been going his way?
And sometimes leading to one bad inning for Clay Buchholz over the last couple of years, and it's come from that type of frustration. And he has not had that to this point so far during the spring.
That's where you need the communication between innings with your pitcher and catcher. You need to talk about it. If I was felt I was getting squeezed, I wanted my catcher, whether it be Tim Laudner or something, to say something to that umpire as soon as possible, because I need that pitch to be consistent. Where is it? Is it outside? I need that pitch.
And Leah, they did talk in between innings.
They definitely did. And as you guys were just mentioning about the relationship between Buchholz and David Ross, they're trying to build it. This is the second time that Ross has caught for Buchholz this spring, and he just can't say enough about the dynamic right-hander. Ross says it's impressive because Buchholz can throw any pitch for strike at any time. He can manipulate the ball, move in and out. You guys mentioned how solid his changeup was. Also, the location of his fastball in the zone. He really has a full arsenal. And Ross says the only way to build trust with Buchholz is through success, and hopefully they'll get a lot of that this season.
Well, again, we'll be talking to Juan Nieves, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, Buchholz, an all-star for the Boston Red Sox in 2010 when he went 17-7, had an ERA under 3. He had a fantastic year, so the potential is there as long as he can stay healthy. There, right there, he just kind of left the ball up. You could almost see him guide that ball up rather than work out front. Now the count in the favor of Trevor Plouffe. He's looking fastball right here, guaranteed to maybe hit it over that green monster out in left field. Ross sitting outer half of the plate.
There's a strike and a full count now.
See, that pitch right there, I think in the first inning, that wasn't called. So Buchholz is now hitting his spots. Watch Ross's glove. See, hardly moves it, even though he brought it up a little bit. Good pitch on a 3-1 pitch.
Fly ball to center field, sending Ellsbury back shy of the track. And he'll take care of out number 2.
See, Buchholz has that type of fastball that can sneak up on you, where Trevor Plouffe, again, looking fastball, still unable to really pull it, ends up hitting it to the deepest part of the field.
Well, David Ross headed out to talk to Buchholz. So look at the Red Sox rotation. Clay is slated for the 2 spot in the rotation. Ryan Dempster 3rd, and then Felix Dubron and John Lackey the way it lines up for the Red Sox. And I guess not a very big surprise that Lester was named the opening day starter. I think most people expected that for the Red Sox.
Well, you know, he's a workhorse. If he stays healthy, he and Buchholz. I'm happy to see John Lackey back in that rotation, a guy that went through the Tommy John, that sat out all of last year. You know, he's having a pretty good spring, and I'm happy for him. Because I tell you what, when he was with the Angels, he was nasty.
And used to being a workhorse, a guy that goes 200 innings every year. Popped up as Ross got a late break. He heads over towards the dugout. No play.
Tangle up with the Bat Boys over there a little bit. And a screen.
Isn't it amazing that you said, you know, that Lackey worked, you know, he worked over 200 innings.
Considered a workhorse.
The game has changed.
Yes.
You had that by Labor Day.
What's the most you ever threw, Bert?
325.
Wow, so 200.
And I wanted to play winter ball.
Now, by today's standards, it is amazing how few guys get to 200 innings now. And John Lackey would very much like to do that once again, perhaps never healthy in a Red Sox uniform. And some great years with the Angels.
But therein, to me, lies the best hope for the Red Sox in getting this thing turned back around. That guy right there, he's a #1 guy, or a former #1 guy, right. And the Red Sox have him listed 5th in their rotation. A lot of teams in the American League would love to have him on the front end of their rotation.
Good breaking ball there. Buchholz picking up his 2nd strikeout, and a 1-2-3 top of the 2nd.
Red Sox on top 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. The Red Sox pitching coach Juan Nieves joins us from down by the dugout. And Juan, there's a couple games left in the spring. How are things going so far for the pitching staff?
I'll tell you one thing. It's been a pleasure being with these guys. They're a very talented group of guys. And you know what's admirable about them is the fact that they've gone through tough times here. But the core and the group stay so together, and they work together. They help each other out. The communication is unbelievable. And like I said before, they're a very talented group.
Hey, Juan, Bert Blyleven, listen, coming from the White Sox organization, you helped Don Cooper really, you know, kind of mend their starting staff. Now, coming to a new organization, what's the first thing that you tried to instill in these pitchers for the Boston Red Sox?
Well, I think it was rhythm and tempo during the course of the game. We also talk about pounding the strike zone, being ahead in the count, and having the hammer. You know, once you look at the first 3 pitches, you want to be 1-2 count, and that's very important. Controlling the strike zone and also controlling the count, and working fast, but not without jeopardizing your delivery, your balance, and your extension through the strike zone and staying in the hallway. And that's very important to. That's what we've been talking about. And strike one and staying ahead in the count. And these guys have been unbelievable.
Well, I think it was a ground ball to Florimone for the first out off the bat of Middlebrooks. But we saw that from Clay Buchholz. We've seen him over the years kind of walk around the mound, take a little bit too much time, but the first couple innings, good tempo.
Absolutely. He's been great all spring training. And it's funny, he's gone from 28 seconds between pitches to about 16 seconds between pitches, and his rhythm and tempo is unbelievable. This guy can manipulate the baseball with the best in the game. He can do it all.
And it makes you more aggressive, too, doesn't it, when you work quick?
Absolutely. It creates a tempo and a rhythm, and your delivery stays sharp, and you never get away with it. I'd rather have guys stepping off and saying timeout than them waiting around, and he doesn't get his rhythm and tempo during the course of the game, and that's very important.
Well, and we're looking at some numbers that you can't see, but I'll tell you this, your spring training numbers have been terrific as far as the mound goes, especially the starters. You have to be happy with what you've seen.
Absolutely. These guys are a pleasure coaching them. Their aptitude and their comments and the way they go about their business, it's superb. And something I can't complain. These guys have been they're giving us everything they got in an everyday basis, not only in the games, but also in their side work, in their way they prepare themselves between starts. It's impressive.
We were just talking about John Lackey, and certainly a guy that was terrific in the Angels organization, and then coming here to Boston, really never healthy until this season again. How are things gone for John Lackey so far during the spring in your eyes?
You know something, his games have been great, no restrictions, and the ball is coming out of the hand very well. The most impressive thing that I'm with is his side days. You sometimes are wondering about guys that are coming back from surgeries, that they probably are, they start changing their arm angles because they're too sore or they cannot long toss. He has been superb. It's actually his side days have been just as good as games. No restrictions, full side days. He can long toss in between starts. He's getting stronger, and he's so sharp. Making great pitches, and even in the bullpens, he's sharp as it could be. He's able to spin the ball in bullpens, in which we're getting a lot of things working on in the bullpen still, that was my biggest concern coming in here.
Juan, you mentioned a couple times long toss. Are you a believer in long toss? Because I am.
Absolutely. There's a day there that I want guys to long toss in between
stretch
starts.
It out.
Absolutely, and then shorten up your distance. Long toss the right way to me. I like eyes on target. I like working lateral, not letting that back foot turn around and make you work side to side. And of course, the flight of the ball is really important. Not having guys the flight of the ball not coming back to arm side, but make sure that he's straight on line and make sure he throws that ball to the opposite side of the body is very important.
And when you talk long toss, are you talking 150 feet or are you talking 200 further back?
You know something, as long as they can keep the ball in a straight line. I don't like long toss to be a merry-go-round 150 feet high in the air. I like it to be straight, and if you cannot reach 150, I don't mind if they long hop the opponent.
I only bring that up because that's one thing I think we've seen over the years of guys got away from long toss. They got into weights, and that rubber band in that elbow. A great article today about the Tommy John surgery, about how long toss and things like that are kind of a lost art. You need to get back to that.
Absolutely, and we incorporated that on our starters and also in our relievers if the day is adequate for it. I also believe in recovery. The right thing. You cannot be long tossing every day at 150 feet, but if you do it correctly, it's very good for your endurance.
1-0 Boston Red Sox. We'll move to the third inning. We're very happy to have Twins manager Ron Gardenhire with us. And Ron, first things first, Kevin Correa hoping to have a really good start in his final start before the regular season, and so far so good.
Yeah, ball's coming out of his hand good. Made some really good pitches, and that's what he's been working on. He's working on getting the ball where he wants it, and now it's he's got his innings up there and he's got his pitches up there. Now it's about locating the ball.
Hey, Gardy, a little update on Justin Morneau. He was in the original lineup and scratched.
Yeah, he came out to me during batting practice after he had hit at home plate and during BP and told me he was a little stiff. And I said, well, we can't screw around. It's a little chilly tonight. We can't screw around. It's too close to the season. So, you know what? He's got plenty of swings in. So we just said, no, let's just go ahead and take it back over there, and we'll see how he is next day or the next day.
Eduardo Escobar is the leadoff batter here in the third, and the count now goes to 1-1 with Escobar. Gardy, I know this is one player that you really like, his versatility, and a guy who, whether you play him at third, short, or second, seems like he wants the ball hit to him.
Yeah, he can. You know what? We saw a little bit of him last year. He got hurt towards the end with his hand. He can pick it. He got a cannon for an arm. He can play anywhere you want him to. He even caught down in a minor league game, which was fantastic for us. So he's done a lot of things. He's had a great spring.
He'll be followed by Florimon, then back to the top of the order, and Aaron Hicks.
Hey, Gardy, last year, it's frustrating as far as the starting staff for the Twins. A lot of new faces going into this year with, Worley getting the opening day assignment, then Correa, and then Pelfrey. Last year the starters, 5.4 ERA. Are you looking for better things this year out of the starting staff?
Well, I sure hope so. We're looking for innings. We want them to, get deeper in the games and just give us an opportunity to score some runs. And hopefully, we didn't catch the ball very well either, and we didn't hit relays and all those things. And we've been playing really well down here defensively, so that's going to help our starters out. But, we're going to go as they go. They have to give us, innings. They have to get deep into games. And right now, we like the way the guys are starting to throw the ball.
We showed a graphic, Gardy, that showed 5 probable or at least possible candidates for the starting rotation, and on that list was Liam Hendriks, who had a frightening moment the other day in the start, and I understand he had a bullpen session today.
Yeah, TK told me it went pretty well. I didn't get a chance to see it, but said it went good. Fundamentals and all those things, I guess he'll be okay. He actually told me on the mound, he thought he kept the ball in front of him pretty good on that play. I was just glad he had his teeth. So, he's a tough kid, and luckily he didn't break anything in his hand.
A couple days ago, Brian Roberts hit a line smash, and it was headed right for Hendriks' face, and he got his pitching hand up in time to deflect it to second base. They ended up getting the out, but Hendriks had to leave the game.
Well, they always say get your face in front of it, but I don't think he wanted to in that situation. So good reaction by at least, blocking that ball.
Yeah, the home plate umpire told me it was going right for his face, and he had a great view, and he's fortunate that he didn't break a hand and also didn't get him in the head like that. So you know what, I guess that's why they've got those quick reactions. So we're just lucky that our Ozzy's okay.
You saw Florimon take strike 3, almost the same pitch that struck out Hicks to lead off the ball game, and Aaron Hicks up right now with 2 outs. Gardy, you got to be happy at the way Florimon and Dozier have played up the middle.
Yeah, that's exciting. Flory, he can pick it, and moving Dozier over to the other side, he's just so much more comfortable there than he was at shortstop. It doesn't look like he has to rush. And at shortstop, he looked like he tried to rush things and force it. He likes to stay back on balls, and at second base, he's been able to do that. He's been really, really good. He's made a lot of spectacular plays.
Gardy, as usual, thanks for the time.
All right,
Thanks,
pleasure, guys.
Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven representing Fox Sports North. Don Orsillo representing New England Sports Network. Nesson, and it's a 1-0 Boston lead. And we've got a Twitter question for Burt. Do you agree with all the moves made over the offseason to acquire new pitching for the Twins? And just a little background, Ben Revere and Denard Span traded over to the National League to bring in some pitching.
Yeah, 2 fan favorites, but the Twins needed pitching. So sometimes you have to give up something to get what they need. And, with Baker gone and Pavano not back, they need guys to, like a Correa, that signed as a free agent, but you need guys to, like Gardy said, go deep into the ball game and then work hopefully the bullpen in after the 7th inning. Too many times last year we saw starters struggle in the first 3 or 4 innings, and the Twins offense was behind the 8 ball right away. So yes, I do like the moves. You hate losing guys like Rivera and Span, but this is baseball. You move on, but it all comes down to good starting pitching.
3 names came to the Twins in those trades, 3 pitching names. Only one is on the current roster, and that's Vance Worley, who will be their opening day starter. But Alex Meyer and Trevor May are 2 very highly thought of prospects. Meyer considered one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball. They'll start in the minor leagues, and they may be a year or 2 away. But the trades were made to help not only this year's pitching staff, but down the road as well, because the Twins in the minor leagues needed some help.
I think we all saw, if you're a Twins fan over the last couple of years, what the Twins minor league system had as far as pitching. They needed to build their minor league system back up. That 2 or 3 years from now, the Myers and the Mays may be where Correa is right now, a starter at the major league level. So you have to, your drafts didn't work out. Gibson got hurt. Wimmers got hurt. Maybe Gibson's going to find himself this year. There's another young arm that hopefully, if he stays healthy, he one day may pitch for the Twins.
Let me ask you about your division, because it appears, an outsider looking into your division, that the Tigers are the class of that division to begin the year.
And you look at the staff that they had. They were going with, Smiley or, Porcello to be the number 5 starter. 2 pretty good. A lefty and a righty right there that you say, wow, if that's going to be their number 5th. They signed Sanchez. Of course, their workhorse is Justin Verlander, who the Twins will see April 1st.
Doug Fister.
Right. Well, Fister.
It goes on and on, with the Tiger pitching staff. I think within the division, you're looking at Kansas City being improved. They acquired their number 1 guy, James Shields, from the Tampa Bay Rays. The White Sox showed a lot of improvement last year. I think that's going to be kind of an interesting team to follow, to see whether they can follow up what was a successful 2012 with more improvement in 2013. And of course, the Cleveland Indians feel that they're significantly upgraded in their starting pitching and through the roster. So I think the level of competition within the division is a lot stiffer than it has been in quite some time.
One question I have about the Tigers is now this closer by committee thing. Of course, Jose Valverde remains unsigned at the moment, a guy who's very successful for them, but sitting at home at the moment.
Well, the reports are that he's shed some pounds, and you wonder why didn't he do it last year. But, it is what it is. Valverde is still out there. He's looking for a job, and maybe the Tigers might be interested. That's up to the organization to see if maybe Phil Koch or Ben Waugh can fill that role.
Ellsbury draws a walk. Correa, for his part tonight, has kept everything in the infield except for Ellsbury's leadoff double. That led to the only run of the game, and now Ellsbury drawing a 1-out walk. Nava is the batter with 2 strikes.
Well, one thing Ron Gardenhire talked about Correa, when he is on, he's got a good sinking fastball, and that's what you're looking for right here. Ellsbury, of course, very good speed. It'd be hard to get a double play, but if he hits it sharply at one of the infielders, maybe they can get a double play, get a couple quick outs, and get out of the inning.
There's one hit to the left and hit well. Willingham is back on the warning track for the catch. Ellsbury has to retouch second, and he will get back to first. Ellsbury had rounded the bag and had to retouch second base, out number 2.
It's great to see Jacoby running the way that he is, because Sunday when he jammed that ankle, it did not look good and did not play. He was supposed to play yesterday for the first time and could not go yesterday, more precautionary than anything else. But we've seen him run pretty well tonight, and that's a very good sign for Red Sox fans.
Well, yeah, very good sign. Here's a guy that, led the American League in stolen bases back in 2008 and 9. He's a big part of that offense. You get him on base, he creates havoc.
That'll be one of the challenges for Correa, Mike Pelfrey, Vance Worley, all the new pitchers that will be pitching in the front end of the Twins rotation. Ron Gardenhire suggested as much. The Twins didn't do much of anything right last year, and one of the things they really struggled with was holding runners. Now you've got a great example here in Ellsbury, perennially one of the best base stealers. Great stop at second by Escobar, and from his knees he throws Pedroia out to close out the bottom of the third inning. It's still 1-0 Boston on a beautiful night in Fort Myers. Pitcher's duel here tonight. You would expect a pitcher's duel Monday at Yankee Stadium. Two of the best left-handers in the game. John Lester in the background there against C.C. Sabathia, and Vance Worley will make his first official Twins appearance as their opening day starter against Justin Verlander and the Tigers.
Yeah, Worley coming over in the trade with Ben Revere from the Philadelphia Phillies. He's looking for his first Twins win, and Lester's looking to get back to where he was, say, 3 years ago when he won 19 ball games for the Boston Red Sox. He had a frustrating year last year, 9 wins, 14 losses, but not, I think, with Juan Nieves here and in a quicker tempo. I think Lester, who's having a very good spring, was off to a good start. Will be off to a good start.
And I also think, Bert, and because he is now the manager, he wears about 25 guys. But when John Lester was at his best, his pitching coach was John Farrell. And John Farrell is back, of course, as the manager of the Red Sox. And the same thing can be said for Clay Buchholz and John Lackey, who relied heavily on John Farrell when he was here before. And Juan Nieves is indeed here, but I still think John Farrell has some things to say, and these guys are very comfortable with him.
I know John Farrell. I went to spring training. He was on our spring training. It was with the Cleveland Indians. Good baseball man. You see him talking to John Lackey right there. I'm sure they're talking pitching right there. John Farrell is an outstanding baseball man. I'm happy that he's the manager of the Boston Red Sox.
Curious to get your take on pitching coaches becoming managers. We've seen Bud Black have success. Some guys can do it. Some guys can't. Why do you think that's happened in the past?
Not too many have been successful. Bud Black has. It's an organization, the Padres, that just have not really progressed the way I think that everybody in San Diego would like. But I think the 2 years that John Farrell was a manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, his name was always mentioned. I think great experience, and now he's coming back in a big market like the Boston area. I think he would do a great job. He's just a good baseball man. You know, he's a farm director for the Indians for a long time, so he's been around game ever since, you know, he picked up a baseball.
Buchholz strikes out Mauer looking, and that'll bring up Willingham. Willingham's been the only Twins base runner here tonight against Buchholz. He drew a walk with 2 outs in the first inning.
Well, Buchholz looks like he's continuing to work the corner. Exactly what I said. Don't give up. He got that call on Joe Mauer. Now 4 strikeouts in a ball game. I like his tempo again. I like the way that he's attacking the strike zone. Good changeup right there.
1 swinging strikeout and 3 called third strikeouts. I think they all were on that fastball that tails back over the inside corner to a left-handed batter.
Straight over the top. He threw one earlier that we showed you, the good arm angle. You want to try to throw that changeup right on top of home plate, make it look like a fastball, and then just good arm speed. Good breaking ball there.
Great diving catch in left by Johnny Gomes. No, he didn't catch it. Looked like it disappeared into his glove, but he didn't hang on to it. And Willingham with a sinking line drive in the first hit of the night.
That's a Harmon Killebrew. When I played with Harmon, that's how hard he hit the ball. You can see the ball hit, you know, the ground first before Gomes. Nice attempt, unable to catch it. That ball had a lot of top spin on it. Exactly what Harmon did. They're so strong. Willingham, 35 home runs last year. Drove 110 runs. When he makes contact, that ball just jumps off his bat. Twins get their first hit.
Parmalee hit a fly ball to center his first time up. And Buchholz from the stretch. And a fastball tapped foul, 1 strike. You were talking about pitching coaches and their lack of success in converting to managers. The Twins went through that with a guy that Bert, when he rejoined the Twins, Ray Miller, who was considered at the time to be one of the best pitching coaches of all time, but he had a tough time in the manager's chair, at least in Minnesota. He was hired in the 1985 season, lasted not until the end of the 86 season.
Well, I think John Farrell learned a great deal in Toronto. It took a couple years for him to realize that you got to worry about 25 guys. You're not worried about 12 anymore in some instances. And I think there were some learning things that took place in Toronto. It was going to make him a better manager now here in Boston as a result.
Well, as a manager, I mean, as a pitching coach, you don't have to deal with the media on a daily basis.
Right.
You know, you want somebody to help promote your organization, and no better man than right there, John Farrell. He's a good baseball man, very positive type of individual. He will try to find a positive out of the negative, and in this game, in the game of baseball, there's so much negative, and the writers want to find something controversial, and you did last year with your manager.
We had a few things come up.
Yes. And this is completely just like night and day. John Farrell would do a great job. He's just a good down-to-earth person that loves the game of baseball, and he gets the respect from his players because of his dedication and his hard work.
And to that point, it's been an incredibly quiet spring training. I mean, really nothing has come out of here, which is extremely unusual.
Well, Don, you know, in a market like Boston, you don't manage just the baseball team. The good ones manage the media.
That's right.
And to Bert's point, I mean, John Farrell seems, at least so far, to be making all the right steps. 1-2 to Chris Parmalee. Buchholz giving up just his first hit a moment ago to Josh Willingham. Breaking ball. And it's tapped foul. Parmalee, expected to be the opening day right fielder, was in the starting lineup tonight in right field before Justin Morneau was scratched with some back tightness.
Well, what's nice about Chris Parmalee playing in right field is that he's going to get a chance to get some consistent at-bats. Last year, up and down, he opened the season with the Twins, then sent back down, back and forth. Never really gotten into a good groove. He had good numbers in AAA because he got to play every day. But a young man like Parmalee, 25 years old, he needs to play every day, and he's going to get that opportunity in
2-2 from Buchholz to Parmalee. There's one right down the middle.
All right, again, inner half of the plate. 5 strikeouts now for Clay Buchholz. He got Hicks right to start off the ball game. Good fastball inside. There's a good breaking ball. Again, I think you're going to see the last 3 strikeouts on that fastball that tails back over the inner part of the plate.
The only swinging strikeout was on the breaking pitch to a right-handed batter.
Yeah, that was to Ramirez.
4 left-handed batters taking a called third fastball for a strike. Here's Domit, and there's ball 1.
You know, that's pitching right there, what Buchholz is doing right now. His strikeouts are coming on the inner half of the plate. So the hitters now might say, okay, when I get 2 strikes, I'm going to open up because he's been striking me out. The strikeouts inside. Now it opens up the outer half of the plate. Now you might see Buchholz start going away later in the ball game.
That's hooked foul off the end of the bat. 1-1.
That's trying to work both sides of the plate. Establish something on the inner half, and then as those hitters start to adjust, then it opens up the outer half. Sounds easier said than done, believe me. Buchholz, 28 years old. Boston's #1 pick back in 2005. Angelina Junior College out of Texas. Oh, good breaking ball there.
Buchholz has looked very sharp here tonight.
Good tight rotation again, that downward type break.
Just looks from up here like he'd be a very easy pitcher to catch right now.
See where Ross now sitting outer half of the plate. I think that's what they were trying to do. He's had a couple strikeouts this inning already. Mauer and Parmalee on the inner half of the plate. Maybe Domit's opening up. Let's try it away. He just left the ball up as you saw Ross sit down and away. The game within the game.
2-2 to Domit.
Now working inside is Ross. And there it is. Wow.
Great deception against some experienced left-handed batters. He strikes out Mauer, Parmalee, and Domit. Clay Buchholz might be done for the night. A very good outing through 4 innings. This has become kind of a 3-game series. 3 games left for these two teams, and they play each other 3 times. And at stake, the Mayor's Cup, the winner of the spring training series. And to give you some idea of how seriously the two teams take this, the last few years they played an even number of games.
You know,
almost encouraging.
Now, Dick, Don, have you guys seen the Mayor's Cup?
I have seen the Cup.
I saw it once, but I'll tell you how important they think it is. I don't think the Red Sox know where the Mayor's Cup is right now.
Somebody's trunk.
The location is up for grabs right now. So they're hopeful they win it. They're in good shape right now, 4 games to 1. So if you win tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, then we're tied, which I think means at the end of the day, if you won it last year, you should have it back.
Yeah,
but it's a tie,
I think you have to win the series to win the cup. Napoli, the batter, and another ground ball for Correa. A very good sign for him tonight. He's kept the left side of his infield very busy, 1 away.
And that's what he has to do right there. Again, not a strikeout pitcher, a guy that needs good defense. You work quick. We talked about it earlier in the ball game. Good tempo. You have good defense, and so far so good.
But doesn't it mean different things, Bert? I mean, you've got Buchholz, a strikeout pitcher on one side, and you want him, to throw strikes and work quickly. But if you're a pitch to contact guy, we talked about this on our telecast the other day. There's nothing more maddening than having a guy on the mound who's a pitch-to-contact pitcher, and the at-bat ends on 7 pitches rather than 3.
Yeah, you'd like each at-bat to, like Juan Nieves was saying earlier, he wants, after 3 pitches, to be 1 and 2, not 2 and 1. So attack the strike zone, especially a guy that is not a strikeout pitcher. You have to get ahead in the count, or you're putting yourself in that situation. You have to leave a pitch up, and that's where you usually get hurt. Another ground ball out.
For Florimo. Middlebrooks is retired. 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
Yeah, 9 ground ball out so far for Correa.
2 hits allowed. One of those was an infield hit. Only 2 balls have left the infield. And Rick Anderson, the Twins pitching coach, kind of got after his pitching staff about a week ago. He wasn't happy with the results on the mound. Wasn't happy that they were taking too much time out there and they weren't attacking enough. And he kind of called them all together. He said, hey, let's go. We got a week left. We don't want a repeat of what's happened around here the last 2 years. And we brought you guys in, and let's start asserting yourselves a little bit.
Man up right now. Now's the time to turn it on and get ready for opening day.
And by and large, that's exactly what's happened. Correa, far and away, his best outing of the spring so far, and hoping it's a springboard towards when the games start next week. Threw strike 1 to Victorino, who got the infield hit. His first time up.
Yeah, we televised that game in Port Charlotte when Correa pitched in his last start. He had a rough first inning, but then he settled down, took the game into the 5th inning. So maybe he found something after that rough first inning, because he put some zeros up on the board after that.
This is the outside corner. It's 2-1.
You're going to go through spring training to where your arm kind of goes through a fatigue, at what they call a dead arm stage. And you want that in the middle part of spring training, not at the end going into the season. But a lot of times when you're down here in warmer weather, and now all of a sudden here's a ball to Plouffe for the final out. As you get into the colder weather, your arm feels stronger, believe it or not.
3 ground balls, 8 hops, and a really good inning.
half of the 5th inning back at JetBlue Park at Fenway South. Red Sox have a 1-0 advantage, and the Red Sox bring on their closer, Joel Hanrahan, to work the 5th inning. During the spring, a higher earned run average of 8.53. But I would think it'd be very hard as a closer to really replicate what it is you do during the regular season as a closer from kind of that adrenaline standpoint at spring training. Coming in sometimes 4th, 5th inning, it's totally different.
You know, we had a chance to talk to Glenn Perkins the other day about that. You know, he hasn't had a chance to close either this time of the year. Now, in the last couple games, they may have that. But, you know, Hanrahan coming over for the, from the Pittsburgh Pirate organization, this is a good pickup for the Boston Red Sox. You know, this guy has a lot of major league experience as a closer. 36 games saves last year, 40 the prior year for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
A very well pitched ball game tonight by Clay Buchholz. 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. And he was terrific. Appeared to have it all going tonight. He ended up striking out the side in the 4th inning and finished on a very good note in his final tune-up before the regular season.
Yeah, Buchholz ended up throwing out 71 pitches, 43 for strikes. Good job.
Well, the pop out to Napoli for the first out, and on opening day, John Lester will be on the mound for the Red Sox. Leah Hextall.
You got that, Don. And with that, Lester becomes the 3rd lefty in Red Sox history to have 3 consecutive opening day starts. And when it comes to the company he's keeping, it is fairly illustrious. He joins Mel Parnell, opened for the Sox in 1952-54, along with the legendary Babe Ruth from 1916 to 1918. And with that, we're going to change our Twitter conversation. We want to talk about the Sox staff, which has been so solid this spring. So we're going to change our hashtag to rotation. We also want to hear about the Twins rotation as well. So please chime in on Twitter. Once again, the hashtag is rotation.
No one down here at the top of the 5th. Wilkin Ramirez sends a 2-hopper to 3rd. Middlebrooks cross the diamond. And there are 2 outs in the inning. But I want to ask you about opening days. You have been a starter on many opening days. It's got to be an incredibly special honor.
Oh, it is. You know, I had it when I was young. I think my first one was 1972. I was like 21 years old, and carried throughout my career. I had probably about a dozen opening day, and what it means is you want to be the guy to get your team on the right road. You know, you want to go out there and pitch your heart out. Hopefully you can go 8 or 9 innings and go deep into the ball game. I know it's changed a lot, but, for Lester and also Worley for the Twins, they want to be the guy that gets you in the win column first. And that's the big thing. Lester will be against the Yankees. Worley will be against the Tigers. And you go out there and you want to win. That's the bottom line, whatever it takes.
And obviously you're facing the other team's ace as well. John Lester will be matched up against CC Sabathia, and Worley will be matched up against Justin Verlander. It doesn't get much tougher
It's
than that.
going to be tough, but you know what? Hey, on paper, advantage Verlander, but the game has to be played. Kind of like FGCU against Florida,
Well, strike 3 for Hanrahan. A good inning of relief. We're halfway through this one. Red Sox on top.
4 good innings for Kevin Correa. Johnny Gomes will lead things off. We've got Twins infielder Brian Dozier joining us, not in the starting lineup tonight. And Brian, you made a point of saying everything is fine. Here's a first pitch single off the bat of Gomes into right center field. But Brian, overall, you're healthy, you're ready to go, and how has the spring gone from your standpoint?
It's been great. I'm going to tell you, it's a good thing to get some at bats under my belt and everything, and get my feet wet at a new position. And it's been good so far. I cannot wait for my first opening day. You hear all these veterans talk. That's one thing. They remember all their opening days, and one thing I'm looking forward to a lot. So,
hey, Brian, Burt here. Listen, how much going into this year what you went through last year going to help you this year?
Last year, there were some ups and downs, but I took a lot of things and took it this offseason to make it a point to be fundamentally sound. And I was telling someone earlier this morning, actually, in an interview, that at the major league level, that everything gets so out of whack sometimes that it's brought to your attention more that the little things in your game have to be fundamentally sound, and you have to be a fine-tuned baseball player. And that's one of the things that about halfway through last year I started getting away from, and it just exploded from there. So that's one thing this offseason. You got to get back to your roots of being a fundamentally sound baseball player. So.
Hey, Brian, I know last year at this time, this week, you were a late cut, and people always talk about, it's really tough on the manager and the coaches to make those final cuts. It's tougher on the player. Must be a nice contrast this year to have gotten the nod that, you know what, you're going to be my starting second baseman.
Yeah, that was good to hear, when I heard that. And it's just, like me and Gardy were talking about a few days ago, this is the hardest time of the year that you have to, cut someone or send them down to AAA. And it's, it'd be different if let's see where that one goes.
Ramirez in the corner makes the catch, one away.
It'd be different if, guys weren't, working their tails off or, or dogs on the field or anything. But all the guys, such good guys / good players that work tremendously hard. And, that's the toughest time of the year for him. So.
Brian, we'll see you all bundled up Monday afternoon at Target Field.
Just be sure to turn the heat on before we get on that field. Huh?
Good luck, Brian.
Thanks,
all
Brian.
right. Thank you, guys.
One down here in the 5th inning with Gomes at first and Jose Iglesias, the batter. We welcome you to JetBlue Park at Fenway South. Nesson and Fox Sports North combining efforts here tonight. Red Sox and Twins. Don Orsillo, Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven, the Hall of Famer. Leah Hextall joining us tonight as well, as Red Sox enjoy a 1-0 advantage with one out here in the last half of the 5th. They get some new faces on the Twins this year.
We were discussing the opener, our telecast on Monday, and you look at of course we talked about the pitching staff, but you look at the position players and where they'll be lined up. The only returning player in the spot that he was in last year on opening day is Joe Mauer. Everyone else is different. Dozier wasn't even with the team. He'll be the starting second baseman. Florimon was in the minor leagues. Parmalee will be in right. He was at first base. Morneau was the designated hitter. He'll presumably be at first.
Here's a base hit for Jose Iglesias through the left side. Gomes will take second. And the Red Sox have runners at first and second with one away.
Well, that fastball left in a little bit. Iglesias, who is going to be the shortstop on opening day because of Drew's injury, gets that fastball right there. Not a lot of movement on that pitch, and they put runners at first and second with one out. But, you can put new faces out there. You still, at top of the show, we talked about starting pitching. Both these clubs really struggled last year. The Twins overall, 66 and 96, 30 games under 500. Boston, 69 and 93. My California Mass says that's 24 games under 500. And you look at the staff, here's a base hit to left field. And Gomes is held up at third base. Runners, bases loaded, one out for Boston. But you look at the starting staff last year for the Twins, 39 and 75 combined with a 5.4 earned run average. Red Sox, 48 and 72 combined with a 5.19. You're not going to go to postseason with those type numbers.
Well, the Red Sox hoping their rotation be much better this year. It does appear But both teams' bullpens are going to be pretty strong this season, certainly for the Red Sox.
Well, the bullpen was strong last year for the Twins. They had some good arms out there, but they're worn out by July because the starters could only pitch 5 or 6 innings at a time, and sometimes they didn't do that. So as Juan Neves talked about, go deep into the ball game, attack the strike zone, and hopefully keep the pitch count down where you don't have to put that extra wear and tear on your bullpen.
A chance here for the Red Sox to do some damage. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Nava turns on this. Sends it a long way foul. Out ahead of that pitch from Correa.
Don and Bert, one thing that both the Red Sox and Twins have to do, and we were earlier talking about Ryan Presley, and he's warming up in the bullpen. They need to play better at home. The Red Sox lost 47 games at Fenway Park. The Twins lost 50 home losses at Target Field, and that's in each case unacceptable.
Nava is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded to short and fly to left.
Yeah, I'm glad you used that word, Dick, unacceptable. And that's a word that I think probably Johnny Farrell and also Ron Gardenhire looked at what they went through. Well, Farrell, even in Toronto, they struggle. But there are certain times you have to use that word. It's unacceptable. Come on, guys. You're better than that. And that's what both these clubs are hoping to do. Just be better than they were last year.
And we should update everybody some encouraging signs, Don, today from David Ortiz, who did some hitting and some running. He would normally be in this DH spot.
Yeah, David today taking batting practice for the 2nd consecutive day, and you saw him doing some running in the outfield, which is certainly a good sign. The Red Sox saying before the game that he will make the trip to New York with the Red Sox, but then return back here to Florida to get more work in. He will begin the year as anticipated on the DL, and certainly you cannot fill his job role as the DH of the Red Sox, and for that matter the DH maybe in the American League. He is far and away a terrific guy, as you know, a former Minnesota Twin in his own right. And these are the candidates that will be filling in perhaps for him.
Well, you can fill in all you want. It's hard to replace David Ortiz's bat. And I think, when he went down, you guys kind of went down too a little bit. There's a big strikeout right there for Correa.
We're talking about some of the possibilities. Jarrett Saltalamacchia, of course, when you have David Ross in there as well. John Farrell has already said he doesn't mind having both catchers in the starting lineup. Johnny Gomes, who's done it a lot in the past, and the strikeout we just saw for Daniel Nava also vying for that spot, but none of them, as you mentioned, Bert, are David Ortiz. So 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Correa getting his first strikeout in a potentially big spot. He's not a strikeout pitcher. We figured if he might get out of this situation, he might get a ground ball double play, but he got a big strikeout for the 2nd out.
Well, sometimes as a pitcher out there, you have to bear down a little bit. This might be his last inning, so whatever's left in the tank right now, air it out. He needed something good to happen, and Correa able to strike out Nava for the big 2nd out.
Dustin Pedroia has done the same thing twice tonight. It's ground out to the 2nd baseman, Eduardo Escobar, once in the 1st and again in the 3rd.
See, the last 2 pitches, Correa just trying to overthrow a little bit. Both pitches up in the strike zone. So I think he knows that this might be his last inning. He's trying to get that ball down and get out of this inning. But this is one tough cookie at the plate right here in Pedroia.
Grounded towards 3rd base. Plouffe on the run with a throw that is there in time. Some fancy footwork by Parmalee at first base to get the job done. Red Sox threaten but do not score as they leave the bases loaded. Trevor Plouffe getting the job done at 3rd base. Red Sox. 1-0 Red Sox have the lead over the Minnesota Twins. We're in the top half of the 6th inning back at JetBlue Park at Fenway South. John Farrell has to be happy with what he's seen tonight from the Red Sox starters. And, of course, we're taking your tweets tonight. Be part of the conversation. Hashtag rotation at the moment. And certainly the Farrell factor. John Farrell back with a lot of the pitchers that he worked with in the past. Lester Buchholz as well as Lackey. And talking to his third base coach, Brian Butterfield, one of the hardest working coaches in all the game. And he was certainly wanting to get him back on this staff again, and he was fortunate to get him from Toronto to join him in Boston.
Yeah, Butterfield was with the Toronto Blue Jays for a lot of different managerial changes. His name was actually mentioned as maybe being the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, but a great baseball guy that comes to the ballpark to expect to make players better, and that's sometimes we overlooked on the importance of a coaching staff, what they mean to John Farrell. You saw Farrell talking to Butterfield about something that, I'm sure Butterfield will do exactly what Farrell wants. Johnny Farrell coming back as former pitching coach is got to help, the pitching staff. I know Juan Nieves is going to do a great job as a pitching coach, but nice to have a manager, too, that helped also coach a lot of these guys, like Lester and Buchholz.
Well, I'm just wondering, how hard is it not to get involved as being a pitching coach and being a successful pitching coach? I think of managers who are catchers, like a Mike Scioscia. If you're a catcher for Mike Scioscia, Mike Scioscia is going to spend a lot of time with you. because it's what he did. It's what he knows.
That's
I would
Mike
think
Napoli.
Exactly, yeah. I think it'd be a very similar situation here, but for John Farrell.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. John Farrell, 80% of the game is pitching. I'm sorry, it is. You can have all the offense you want, but you're going to lose 8-7 every night. That's not good. You need guys to go out there and put zeros on the board.
Well, Uehara has been amazing for the Red Sox during the spring so far, and he's just able to strike out Foreman for the first out, and he has not given up a run during the spring. This is his 9th appearance. 9 strikeouts to 2 walks. Yeah,
Uehara signing as a free agent over the winter from the Texas Rangers, where he has been over the last couple years. Prior to that, the Baltimore Orioles.
Now, his numbers from strikeout to walk ratio are pretty amazing over the last couple of years with the Orioles and Rangers. Last year he had 43 strikeouts to 3 walks. In his 37 appearances.
Good changeup there.
That's Eckersley-Ike.
It is indeed. Another Hall of Famer. Of course, we got a Hall of Famer in the booth tonight, Bert Blyleven.
Well, Uehara, you can see, 38 years old. From Japan. Another good changeup. In WBC, Don, we talked about, that we had the opportunity to go to Japan. Very respectful people there. They bow at everything. Unbelievable. Even right there, Uehara, talking to the catcher right there, kind of bowing. Yes, sir. Very, very respectful. And there's so many players are coming over from not only, Japan. There's some Taiwanese players that look like they get a chance to play some minor league baseball. The Dutch, they ended up signing Kurt Smith. The Twins did at the AA level because of how he succeeded at the WBC. So that's one thing about the WBC. It's given some guys some opportunities to kind of show that they're healthy and maybe another job.
The Red Sox had the chance to open up their 2008 campaign at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, and it was certainly a very good experience for the Red Sox in the time that they were there. We spent about 7 days there altogether. You just figure out the time zone, and it's time to leave again. I'm sure you went through the same thing.
It was 13 hours from Florida to Tokyo, Japan. So still, it floors me, that here I'm talking to my wife. She's about ready to go to bed. I'm just getting up. Let's go.
Well, the Red Sox and Oakland A's played 2 games there in the regular season. The Red Sox came back, played more exhibition games, and then restarted the regular season again. And Uehara missing there, and count is now full 3-2 to Aaron Hicks. It appears this guy has got it all. Aaron Hicks, certainly this guy does. Joe Mauer on deck, but Aaron Hicks, terrific spring training, really winning this job in center field.
leading the team in hitting, in runs batted in home runs.
Sent it out to his counterpart in center field. Ellsbury get a good jump from left center, gets into right center, and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. We come to you tonight from JetBlue Park at Fenway South, and they were recently honored, recently nominated by Sports Business Journal as the Sports Facility of the Year. $78.8 million project was spearheaded by Lee County Board of Commissioners. Complex was designed by Populous and constructed by Manhattan Craft Construction Incorporated. And other nominees: Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Marlins Park, of course, in Miami we visited last year, and Pauley Pavilion in L.A. The winners will be announced May 22nd in New York. And, of course, the Carter Stadium, the home of TCU football. But this really is a beautiful facility. I know, Bert, first time you've been here.
Yeah,
tonight.
It's the first time I've driven by. I live here at Fort Myers, Florida, and never really came into this complex. It's beautiful. Holds about 10,000 people. Spring training site, Hammond Stadium, where the Twins are, a very nice complex. They're going to improve that to make it a boardwalk type of effect around that ballpark like here. But we also have the opportunity, Dick and I, to broadcast games at Target Field. Beautiful ballpark there in Minnesota.
What a great facility that is. We had the chance to be there for your first opening day, which was a lot of fun to be a part of. But it's great to be outside again in Minnesota. Has there been that big a difference? I know that there were some concerns of moving out of the Metrodome that you may run into some weather problems. Have you had more rainouts than you've had in the past?
No, we've really been pretty lucky over the last 3 years.
Any more than they've had in Chicago or Detroit or Cleveland or Kansas City. Now, the one thing you'll get, and the Twins will run right into it on Monday, you can get pretty cold temperatures, and the high temperature is supposed to be 34.
High and deep to left and off the screening. Mauer is headed for second base, and he better hurry. The throw is not going to be in time. Just did get in. And the net here, of course, at JetBlue Park is in play, and right off that netting, which is below the wall, about 6 extra feet here on this green monster at JetBlue Park.
Your typical Joe Mauer swing, you're going to pitch him away, he'll take that ball the other way, and you see the screen comes into play. Good job by Gomes playing to Karam, and a nice throw to second base, but the bang-bang play. Pedroia wanted the out, but looked like Joe got his foot on the bag.
There's the screened-in area. Of course, 3 rows of seats that go from the left field foul pole to the left center field corner. And a great vantage point here for Red Sox fans. And, of course, on top, standing room area. About 6 extra feet on this screen monster.
Don, you mentioned this is a gorgeous ballpark, and you can understand why it's sold out every game this year. Fans just love coming here. The Twins facility over at Hammond Stadium is going to undergo a major renovation as soon as the Twins leave camp here this weekend. The renovations will begin, and that'll be completed in time for the 2015 season. And I mean, the 2 facilities here, being mindful that City of Palms Park is still up the road a little bit, but the 2 major league facilities will be, bar none, the 2 best dual facilities anywhere in Florida or dare I say Arizona. I mean, it's just 2 fantastic facilities.
I like Hammond Stadium right now, so I'm looking forward to the renovations. It's a nice place where the Twins train.
And have 2 beautiful spring training parks.
And it would be nice to have another team down here, though, in Fort Myers, perhaps, at City of Palm. Still a very nice place.
Yeah, hopefully one day that can happen.
Then we'd really have a battle for the Mayor's Cup.
Oh, 3-team. 2 down in the inning. Mauer at second base. That hit is only the second hit for the Twins of the night. And they check, and he didn't go. Willingham able to hold up.
Yeah, not a bad pitch. Fastball away. Even Uehara thought it was strike 3. Watch his reaction. He started walking toward the dugout.
So now 2-2. And it gets him in the end.
Great changeup.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Uehara. 5.5 deep from JetBlue Park at Fenway South.
1-0 Red Sox. They got their run in the first inning, and very good outing for Twin starter Kevin Correa. And Kevin, early on, even in the one inning where they got the run, a couple of broken bats, and he kept everything on the ground, it looked like.
Yeah, I had some good late movement today, and for the most part, kept the ball on the ground. And the last inning they gave a few hits, and they were just ground balls through the hole. So it's kind of what I do out there, and it was a good one to end on.
Hey, Kevin, 64 pitches, 5 innings. Throwing to Joe Mauer, I know he was away with the WBC. You guys working, seemed like you guys were on the same page today.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive how little times I had to shake for how little times I've thrown to Joe. And, he's caught me one other time, and it seems like we were on almost the exact same page all night. And I only shook a couple times, and, he obviously knows these American League teams a little better than I do, and so I'm going to rely on him a little bit until I get my own kind of game plan.
Hey, Kevin, I know you have to get some ice or whatever you need to do after the ballgame. One more question in that fifth inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Your only strikeout came at that time. You pumped up a little bit right there.
I needed it right there. I needed a strikeout, and if I was going to only get one tonight, then that was going to be the one. Bases loaded, 1 out, to be able to get that strikeout. And with a guy like Clay Buchholz over there pitching a pretty good game, it's important to keep your team in the game.
Well, you're scheduled to start the second game April 3rd. Good luck to you, Kevin. Thank you for coming on with us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you to Kevin Correa. A very good outing for the Twins right-handed starter. He will start Wednesday afternoon. Jared Burton coming out of the Twins bullpen to pitch to the Red Sox in the 6th.
0-1 so far during the spring with a 3.12 earned run average for Burton. Last year, a total of 64 games for the Minnesota Twins. 3-2 with a 2.18 earned run average a year ago. First out of the pen for the Twins today. Also have a new left fielder. I'm going to let you say his name. I think it is Goncalves. Close?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's in left field.
Jonathan Goncalves.
Jonathan Goncalves.
What Jared Burton last year, they kind of babied him through the first, say, half of the season, Don, because he had shoulder surgery in 2011. But as the season went on, they were giving him more and more opportunities, back-to-back outings, and he had a great year. He is a big part of the setup man role for Glenn Perkins, a new closer for the Minnesota Twins this year going into the season. Perkins ended the season as a closer, got 16 saves, but this year he'll be the main guy out of that bullpen to save games. And you can't save games unless you have somebody in the 7th and 8th inning protecting that lead. And Jared Burton, one of those guys.
One down here in the 6th inning. Will Middlebrooks 0 for 2. He's bounced out twice to shortstop. Justin Morneau out of the lineup tonight for the Twins with mild back stiffness, and I want to ask you about him because right now Stephen Drew looks like he's going to start the year on the 7-day concussion DL, and it seemed at the time when he got hit in the bill of the helmet at Hammond Stadium against the Twins, it wasn't a big deal, but later on that night he had some concussion symptoms and then took the test and failed it at the time, Major League Baseball's concussion test, which now you have to go through, and has had trouble coming back, still having symptoms. And this is something that Justin Morneau battled, for the better part of a year, right?
And a play that seemed like the Stephen Drew play, innocent enough. He slid into second base. John McDonald's knee caught him around the temple area. Didn't think much of it at the time. In fact, I think at the time, Bert, you'd agree, we were surprised he even came out of the game.
Right.
And it pretty much ruined a season and a half. So the Twins are very aware of how unpredictable those concussions can be. Now, Don, let me ask you this. As Drew, line drive to Plouffe, has Drew passed the concussion test?
He has. That's the thing. He has passed the concussion test with Major League Baseball. Went and got checked out in Pittsburgh as a precautionary thing, just so he felt better about it. Came back, has been taking some batting practice, been doing some different things, but it's not gone yet. It's still there.
Well, everybody's different. Just talking to Justin about what a person goes through the concussion. Brian Roberts, great second baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, still fighting his way back. Jason Bay. I mean, there's some good names right there that went through the concussion, and you wonder if they'll ever be the same.
Well, Twins have a link to one of the better examples too, Corey Koski, who signed with the Blue Jays and then was with the Milwaukee Brewers. He simply went back on a pop-up behind third base, and his head never even hit the ground, but he kind of tumbled backwards, and it essentially ended Corey Koski's career because of the concussion. And it's a frightening thing to think, because you think concussion and you think football, or you think hockey, and you don't think baseball. And sometimes it's the most innocent-looking plays that create the biggest problems.
Yeah, medicine has come a long ways. I know in the 70s, if you did something like that, you just had an extra beer and then you're better the next day.
And look what happened.
I wonder if I ever had a concussion. Probably. All those line drives back up the middle. Oof. And over my head. Deep.
2 down here in the 6th inning. And a liner to left. And Caldas will play it on a hop, and it gets by him. Slipped and headed to second base is Victorino. The time he runs it down, Victorino stands at second with 2 outs.
I think he flipped his hat off to go retrieve that ball.
Increase his speed.
You know, this is a guy right here for Boston I think is really going to bring a lot of energy on a daily basis. That's Victorino. You can see him trying to short hop it, and the ball ends up getting away. Saw Gomes earlier in the ball game able to trap a ball like that. Yeah, he just dropped his hat. Going to get a little air time without his hat on.
Single and an error on the play. Then Calvas charged with the miscue, and it comes with 2 outs in the inning. Victorino at second base, and Johnny Gomes the batter. Bruno, I want to ask you about the length of spring training. Certainly it's longer this year than WBC, but do you think it's about right as far as pitchers go?
For pitchers, yes. For hitters, no. They've been ready for a week, maybe a little bit longer. You talk to hitters, they want the season to start. They've had enough batting practice. They've had enough A and B games. For a pitcher, especially the starters, they need, I think, all this time to at least get 6 innings worth of work in. Maybe 5 in today's game. Give me 7 good innings on opening day. I'm sure that's what the Boston's looking from Lester, and hopefully the Twins are going to get out of Worley on opening day.
How do you approach, or how did you approach spring training? Obviously not working to make the team in your estimation. So you're thinking about different things, getting ready for the season to get yourself ready, I would think.
Biggest thing was my lower body, my legs. I did a lot of distance running. As long as my foundation was solid by the end of spring training, my arm was nothing more than a whip. I had to make sure that my lower part of my body was strong. First 2 or 3 weeks in spring training, with all the PFPs, no matter what you do during the winter to get ready, it's standing around, doing the pitching fielding practice and all that. Your legs feel like 100 pounds each. And then once you get into the middle part of March, then you start to strengthen yourself a little bit for that opening day assignment.
Hey, look at Johnny Gomes. Who does he remind you of, Burt Blyleven, and what he does? See if we get another pitch here. Ooh.
Ouch. Let's see. Someone that likes to get hit.
No. He looked exactly like Mike Hargrove with all his fidgeting with the batting gloves and everything.
From the right side of the plate. Well, right. See, Burton said enough of all the fidgeting. Just go to first base. You can see him wear the pad right there, and that maybe saved an injury right there, getting that one off that pad on his left elbow area.
The Red Sox fans had one of the great fidgeters of all time, and Nomar Garciaparra.
Well, Jackie Bradley Jr. is running at first base for Johnny Gomes, whose day is over. So Bradley Jr. at first base. Come to you from JetBlue Park at Fenway South tonight. Nesson and Fox Sports North combining efforts tonight. Red Sox and Twins, and a broken bat grounder that will go foul off the bat of David Ross.
We have seen some broken bats here tonight, and I guess that's a good thing. And all these players, these hitters, are getting rid of all the bats that are going to break easy and make sure that when they go north that they have the good bats.
Good wood to bring north.
Yes. So what you're saying then, when Justin Verlander on Monday at Target Field, when it's 34 degrees and he's throwing 98 miles per hour, we're not going to have any broken bats.
On the inner half of the plate. No, he might have some broken fingers, but no broken bats. Again, there goes Manny Sanguillen's toothpick.
2 on, 2 down. David Ross has had a quiet spring, 2 for 25 at the plate. And there's a strike. Both runners taken off, and double steal for the Red Sox. Victorino to third, Bradley Jr. to second.
Well, the play was on, and Bradley actually got a pretty good jump. The play was on. Let the guy steal third. We're going to get the trail runner. You can see the lead that Bradley has. Now he has to watch the runner at second, and the throw is low, and Escobar able to at least knock that ball down and keep Victorino at third base. So a double steal put on here by John Farrell and the Boston Red Sox.
John Farrell was pretty aggressive when he was in Toronto as far as base running went. Watching it from afar, be interesting to see what he does. Now, granted, a different looking roster here for the Red Sox, but you do have Victorino, you do have Ellsbury, you do have some speed and some things you can do. This is back up the middle into center field for Ross. From third, Victorino scores. Here comes Jackie Bradley Jr. It's cut off, and the Red Sox take a 3-0 lead. So David Ross with a 2-out, 2-run single. And the Red Sox lead it 3-0.
David Ross back behind the plate after delivering a 2-run single to bring the lead to 3-0 Boston.
Yeah, not a bad play right here by Ross. You see the ball hit pretty sharply. Now Hicks comes in, hits the cutoff, man, and there could have been a throw home, so Ross would have been able to get in the scoring position, but that's a play right there. You want to be aggressive as a base runner, and Ross, even though he got tagged out for the third out, you look how hard that ball was hit. There may have been a play at home. Instead, Bradley scored and Ross was a third out. So 2-run score on the 2-run single by David Ross.
Victorino scored on the single. Now he leaves the ball game. Ryan Sweeney is in right field. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is in left field. He's scored the second run of that inning. And Alfredo Aceves comes out of the Boston bullpen to pitch to the Twins in the 7th.
Yeah, Aceves, he wants to be a starter. He wants to be a closer. But I think the setup role, which is a guy that Aceves, he kind of can do it all. But last year he had a frustrating year, 5.36 ERA and 69 relief appearances. He did have 25 saves, but 2-10, a record overall. 2 wins, 10 losses.
Chris Parmalee, the batter, taking ball one. Evan Bigley is on deck. He will take over the DH spot for the Twins. Parmalee on the night, a fly ball to center and a strikeout, and he takes up high 2-0. Don, when you've talked about the Boston bullpen being one of its strengths, in whatever role he settles in, Aceves is a part of that bullpen, isn't he?
He is indeed, and he's a guy I think that can give you 3 innings, and he's also a guy that could be a spot starter. Obviously, we've seen that in the past from him. But you're right, Bert, he wants to be a starter. He wanted to be the closer last year when Andrew Bailey came back off the DL. Red Sox made Bailey the closer. That's why they went and got him. And Aceves was not pleased at the time, but he very much wants to be a starter, and last year was not happy about it at all. But he's been very good for the Red Sox coming out of the bullpen, giving you 2-3 innings. Guy can give you multi-innings and good start.
That's why I said no matter what role he will play, I like this role right here that he's in, and maybe that's why John Farrell likes him too. He's a guy that is resilient as far as arm. You know, he can pitch 3 innings, rest a day, and maybe be used again, where some guys out of that bullpen, they pitch 3 innings. You got to sit them down for 2 or 3 days to get them back out. Not this guy. This guy, he wants that ball. He wants to throw. He wants
2-2
to pitch,
Parmalee.
not throw. He wants to pitch.
Played for Team Mexico in the WBC.
Busted bat and a base hit to left. Got in on the trademark, but Parmalee dumps a single to left, leading off the 7th.
Well, pretty good hitting right there, kind of inside-out swing, and even though they had a little bit of a shift on for Parmalee to pull the ball, he kind of inside-outed that between Middlebrooks and Iglesias at short. See a little bit up the middle the shift is put on.
We talked about that in one of our earlier broadcasts, how the John Farrell will bring a lot of different infield shifting to the Red Sox this year. We saw a lot of that, as I'm sure the Red Sox did when the Red Sox were playing the Blue Jays. Parmalee out of the ball game. We got a pinch runner at first, and here's Evan Bigley. Ball 1.
John said he's going to do it a little bit differently with the Red Sox. In the past, he had Brett Lawrie go from third base to right field, and he would be the guy kind of as the rover out there. He's not going to do that with Will Middlebrooks. He's going to send Pedroia out there and leave Middlebrooks really to the right of second base as part of the Red Sox shift, leave the shortstop on the left side of the infield, which seems to make sense. And
right.
Shortstop with the best range on the left side of the infield. So a little bit different. He's going to do a lot more shifting than we're perhaps used to, but it'll be different from what he did in Toronto as far as the personnel in the outfield.
Dan Rolfing is the pinch runner for Parmalee, leading off at first. Bigley, a minor leaguer, called up to fill out the roster for tonight's game.
Yeah, Bigley signed by the Twins back in 2008 out of Dallas Baptist University, where Lou Ford came out of, former Twin and Baltimore Oriole. Lou Ford got sent down by the Orioles down to AAA. But Bigley last year in AA had a pretty good year. A .270 career minor league hitter. Hopes to one day wear a major league uniform and get a better number than 97.
Couple of swinging strikes to even the count, 2-2. Trevor Plouffe on deck. And Aceves throws it into center field. So a tailor-made comebacker and what should have been a 1-6-3 double play.
Yeah, it looked like Aceves. He knew that the shortstop was covering, and it looked like the shortstop got there a lot quicker than he anticipated. Tried to throw that ball over the bag. Looked like he tried to guide that ball. And a tailor-made double play throws behind the shortstop into center field. So Twins get a break.
So now Plouffe at the plate representing the tying run. Twins saw Aceves last year at maybe his peak, and when he bottomed out early in the season in May, Aceves was the closer, saved a couple of ball games in a Boston series at Target Field, and then Mauer hit a big home run against Aceves late in the ball game at Fenway Park, and the Twins almost swept the Red Sox in a 4-game series in August. And Plouffe takes a strike on the outside corner.
Well, there's no doubt he wants to be a starter. He was part of the conversation last year when the Red Sox were trying to figure out who their fifth starter was going to be. It turned out that it was Felix Dubron, and he really wasn't on the radar to begin the spring last year. It was really about Daniel Bard and turning him into a starter. So Alfredo kind of felt slighted in that regard, but then quickly became the closer when Bailey went down during spring training last year, but then had that job kind of taken away. And coming in this year, he knew he was going to be in the bullpen if he is going to be on the club. But he has been so valuable, as Bert mentioned earlier, his versatility and what he can do for a ball club.
Well, you look at his major league career, even though he was 2-10 last year, overall 26-13 as basically a reliever, but 183 appearances, 9 major league starts. So a guy like that is very, very valuable to the Boston Red Sox throughout the summer.
1-2 to Plouffe. Ross sets up outside again, and Aceves hits the spot and gets the call, 1 away.
Yeah, like an artist right there. He painted the outside part of that plate. Look at Ross hold the glove. Right there. Good pitch. Man, Plouffe can't believe it.
So now Wilkin Ramirez, 0 for 2 on the night. Twins have just 3 hits, including Parmalee's broken bat single to start this 7th inning. Ramirez surprised just about everyone by making the ball club. Ramirez has some major league experience, can play all 3 outfield spots. He takes inside ball 1.
Yeah, Ramirez, 27 years old. He was up with the Tigers in 2009, played in 15 ball games, and then the Braves in 2011. Those are his experiences at the major league level, but in 10 minor league seasons, he's hit 130 home runs, so he has some pop in his bat. And that's one thing the Twins are looking for on the bench, is at least somebody to come off and maybe, hit a home run late in the ball game.
The end of the bat and a little flare to center, and making the catch out there is Ellsbury. That's out number 2.
You think his versatility in the outfield, the fact that he can play all 3 positions, certainly helped his cause?
Yeah, and the fact, as Bert said, he's got some pop in his bat. There was some talk that the Twins and some other teams too might be interested in Jim Thome, but with Thome, you're essentially tying up 2 roster spots with 1, because if he doesn't hit a home run but reaches base, you have to pinch run for him.
Right.
And the Twins, like most teams, are going to try to go north with 12 pitchers. That leaves you 4 bench players, and you're really limited to 3 if you include Thome on your roster now.
I just think, we talked a little bit about it the other day, Dick, that baseball, through their bargaining agreement, have to look at expanding 25 to maybe 26 or 27 players, only because so many staffs now are going to 12, 13. Kansas City went to 14 pitchers last year.
A week and a half.
What does
last
Ned
year,
Yost do? Basically, right the lineup, guys, you're out there for 9. I can't make any moves. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe with the next bargaining agreement that they raise that 25-man roster to 26, 27 because of so many pitchers on a staff.
So specialized now. I mean, is that one of the bigger changes you've seen over the years as far as pitchers go? The specialization of what it is now. They do 6th inning guy, 7th inning guy. I'm
looking for baseball. You have to pitch 5 innings as a starter to get a win. I'm looking for baseball to go, okay, give us 4 good innings, and if you hold on to the lead, you get the win after 4 innings. To me, it's a joke. The why pitchers are bigger and stronger. Why they can't go 7, 8, 9 innings from time to time. I don't like the pitch count, never will.
Throw to second, diving back is Rolfing.
But I'm from the old school.
Did you feel the more you threw, the stronger you got?
Oh, definitely, definitely. That's why I asked Juan Nieves about long toss.
Yeah.
What does it take to strengthen your arm? And long toss is the best element that a pitcher can use. Young kids should play more long toss. As growing up, I know that they even have pitch counts in high school, and that's a good thing. But you have to strengthen your arm by being out on the mound and facing a major league hitter or any hitter.
2-2 to Escobar, trying to take advantage of this situation the Twins have been given here with the error Sevis to put a couple of guys on base.
Now, all long tosses does is it extends your arm out. Okay, your arm is you don't want to build it up where it's bulk like this. You want elasticity, and that's a big word for me. Watch out, I might hit you right there. But you want to be able to throw that arm out because that's where your arm's going to be when you pitch, just like that. So you build up the strength of your shoulder by playing long toss.
It's safe to come in here.
Yeah, come on back.
All right. Seven pitches out of the jam.
Good old 7-inning stretch here, but we're going to stretch the mind of our Hall of Famer up in the booth. No disrespect to Dick or Don, but when you get a Hall of Famer in the booth, you want to ask him a question. So we're going to hashtag it now. Ask Bert. He just gave us some great insight there about the long toss. He's got way more tools in that brain, I think. So let's hashtag him, shall we? Ask Bert on Twitter and throw a few questions at him. See how he handles them.
Well, thank you very much. And believe me, there is nothing between these ears other than maybe a little bit of baseball knowledge. But had a fun to play a kid's game for as long as I did. Now I get a chance to work with Dick Bramer for what is this, 19 years?
Our 19th year together. I know you and Jerry have been together for almost 13. As long, right?
Yeah, it was about 13.
Speaking of Jerry, I want to send our condolences out to the Remy family for why he's gone.
Death in their family.
Yep.
Jerry will be back with us on Saturday, and we'll be wrapping up our telecast down here from Fort Myers, Red Sox and Twins.
Danny Lehman doing the catching. Nate Hansen's at third. Danny Rolfing's at first, and on the mound, one of the subjects of our Twitter question before, Ryan Presley, who was a Rule 5 pickup, and the Twins love the way he throws. What he does, what he's shown the Twins is what he did just there. An overhand delivery and a lot of pitches down around the knees.
Yeah, young man Ryan Presley, 24 years old, originally signed by the Red Sox, their number 11 pick in 2007. Ooh. There's a good breaking ball right there. Presley, I'm sure when he signed with the Red Sox, wanted to wear a Boston Red Sox uniform at the major league level, but now because of the good spring, he's got a chance to wear a Twins uniform on opening day on April 1st.
I mean, it was he split time last year between Salem and Portland, and for Portland was exclusively a relief pitcher, and that seems to have been the trigger for him and his easiest ticket to get to the big leagues. And he'll be a relief pitcher for the Twins. But look at that. You guys are always talking about arm angle and throwing on a downward plane and all that, and Presley's got that.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, good size for a pitcher. Presley at 6'3", about 180, but stays back nicely, works out of that stretch position.
Left that pitch up, and it's laced to the corner, and a foul ball.
Yeah, you can kind of see that ball is going to go foul right off the get-go off the bat of Ellsbury. Kind of inside-out swing with a lot of spin going the other way, but straight over the top. Not a lot of room down that line. What a great job by the city here, the county, to build this stadium. I mean, it's Fenway. I'm sitting here looking at Fenway. We're actually just a little bit lower than actual Fenway Park.
Yes,
we're up at nosebleed.
just
a lot lower.
2 strikes to Ellsbury.
It's neat, though, to have the same dimensions here as you do at Fenway Park, and it certainly helps, I think, the players who are developing here who haven't had a chance to play at Fenway Park yet to play here to get a feel what it's going to be like. 310 down that left field line, with the Green Monster being a little bit bigger here than it is at Fenway Park.
What'd you say, 6 feet higher?
Yes, 6 feet higher up top there.
Yeah.
And
well, what a view those fans have up there.
One thing different here, too, is that railing that you just saw right above the fencing, which, of course, does not exist at Fenway Park. A short wall at Fenway, it just jumps up into the seats, but here they get the railing.
I believe that is, what, 309, the pesky pole?
Correct.
And did they name it the pesky pole here?
I think it's a pesky pole, whether it be a JetBlue Park or Fenway Park.
Oh, what a great man.
And a breaking pitch from Presley strikes out Ellsbury. We've got our first Ask Bert question.
What is your best moment in your career during the regular season? Whoa. Well, yeah, of course, being part of 2 World Championship ball clubs is, I think, every player's dream, with the Pirates and then the Minnesota Twins. Pirates in '79, and probably my best moment is probably when I came up at 19 years old, getting to have Jim Perry, Jim Codd on the same ball club as myself, and Harmon Killebrew, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew, Cesar Tovar. I was very fortunate to come up with a lot of veterans that love the game of baseball, and then to play with a guy like Willie Stargell with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Kirby Puckett when I came back with the Twins. So many great players I had an opportunity to play with.
Well, driven to left. And Calvis has a tough time with Fenway South's Green Monster, and the carom in short left field. It's a double for Nava. Hey, I want to ask you, take another look at this, but a guy who was with the Twins in your rookie season, 1970, and became an icon in Boston. In fact, I saw him here a week or so ago when we were here, Louis Tiant, and you almost intersected your careers with the Twins in 1970, right?
I came up in 1970 because Louis Tiant and Dave Boswell got hurt right around the same time, but I still, when I see Louis Tiant smoking that cigar, going in the big whirlpool in 1970. Remember, I'm 19 years. He scared me. I mean, with his broken English, he said something to me, and it wasn't very nice, because I was kind of taking his job. Every day he'd be in that whirlpool smoking that cigar, and he'd be calling me names and stuff like that. I kind of stayed away from him, but what a nice man.
He is terrific.
He's a sweetheart of a man.
Great to have him around here every day. The Red Sox do a great job of bringing back a lot of their legends, and we have seen him as well as Jim Rice is here every day, and some of the new guys who have retired recently. Pedro Martinez been in camp, Jason Varitek as well, so done a nice job.
I think it's great that organizations do that to allow these young kids to have a chance to sit down with Louis Tiant and talk to him about pitching. It's awesome.
I left out Dwight Evans and Carl Yastrzemski were also here this spring.
2 strikes to Pedroia. And a fastball left up, fouled back.
You mentioned Johnny Pesky, and there's not a fan who's come down to spring training at Fort Myers here to see the Red Sox anyway over the last 10 years prior to this season who's not had an autograph from Johnny Pesky. I mean, he was a great ambassador for the Red Sox, Mr. Red Sox, and we all certainly miss Johnny.
Yep.
It's great to have his number retired at Fenway Park as well, and it's something he'll certainly will not forget.
A pop-up foul and out of play.
Wow. What am I doing in 9 days? I'm going to be 62 years old. My birthday's coming, Dick. Did you know that? Did you get me a present yet?
Yeah, that's if it ships from overseas. What do you want for your birthday?
I want to win. The Twins will be in Baltimore. That's all I want is a win.
All right.
So, hopefully that can happen. I'll have my birthday hat with me again.
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, I
always do.
Birthday hat?
With candles and everything. It lights up. It's beautiful. Happy birthday to me.
Wilkin Ramirez with a catch. That wraps up the 7th inning and a 3-0
Nine
lead
more
for the Red
days.
Sox.
9 more days.
Night game tonight, day game tomorrow, day game Saturday, and then the teams will head to their respective opening day locations.
Yeah, the Twins going to Minnesota to face the Detroit Tigers on Monday, and the Boston Red Sox, they'll be traveling to New York to face the New York Yankees.
Alfredo Aceves out there to pitch his second inning of work, gave up a base hit, committed an error, and created a situation for himself, but he pitched out of it. Pedro Florimon will lead things off for the Twins in the 8th.
Well, here, we were talking about Aceves, about how important it is, this type of role, and here he is. A lot of times spring training, a reliever will go 1 inning. He's going out for the second inning just to build up that arm strength in case he is needed to go more than 1 or 2.
Florimon at the plate. There's no question what this young man can do in the field. There are questions about what he'll be able to do at the plate. He's a switch hitter, doesn't have much power. He's never hit for a high average in the minor leagues. And then within that whole situation is the question, and maybe the Red Sox will face it with Iglesias too. If you make the plays in the field, what level must you hit to stay in the lineup?
In Jose Iglesias' case, it does appear that he's going to be in the season because of the Stephen Drew concussion situation starting the year in the 7-day DL, that Iglesias will be the guy. Now, he has added some strength during the offseason, and when he has made contact, ball's going a lot further. He added some in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 pounds during the offseason, and mostly upper body strength for him. So that is something that he has really worked on. But the question, you're right. I mean, defensively, there's no doubt about it. He's been ready for the majors the last couple of years. Offensively has been a real problem.
Because I said this earlier about Florimon, to me, I think the Twins would be thrilled if Florimon could hit in the 240, 250 range. Are the Red Sox in the same situation with Iglesias?
Exactly the same situation.
Okay.
Well, sometimes you have to give up a little offense because of the defense, the importance of a Florimon or an Aceves, what they mean to a ball club defensively.
Here is the one problem, though. You don't have David Ortiz. If you have David Ortiz, you got a lot more pop in your lineup, obviously, and it extends the line. You need some offense coming from someplace without David Ortiz.
And that's where the Twins feel if Florimon can hit in that 240, 250 range. They've got Mauer, Morneau, Willingham, Domet. And the guy at the plate, Aaron Hicks, has at least in spring training proven that he can handle major league pitching. Hitless tonight, a couple of outfield flies and a strikeout.
Numbers are always deceiving sometimes in spring training, though, Dick, because you know what? I mean, Hicks, I mean, he was ready for spring training. He came in great shape. Sometimes pitchers takes them a little bit longer. Now's the time you start watching the at-bats, the last week of spring training, and then the regular season, because now the pitchers, pitchers are a little sharper. Breaking balls are a little sharper. Fastballs got a little more life to it. Now is really the time you watch Aaron Hicks and see how he does.
Spring training numbers for you? I mean, if you had did you ever have a terrible spring training and a great beginning to the year?
I had a spring training. I couldn't get anybody out, and I remember the writers were saying, he doesn't deserve to be opening day starter. I believe I was with the Indians, and I opened up the season and pitched a shutout, 1 9-inning shutout. So you don't know. Once that bell rings, as long as you get yourself mentally and physically ready for that bell, you can't turn it on just like that. You have to take steps to get yourself mentally and physically ready for opening day.
We have a new Ask Bert question. Long tossing obviously helps improve arm strength and stamina. How often should you do it?
Well, you know what? I only did it like once between starts. Usually, if I pitched every 4th day, I'd rest a day, and then I would have a side piece. I would throw long toss before I hit the mound. And then before I went into a ball game, I would play long toss just to stretch my arm out so I would be ready for the mound as far as the game. Not too often between starts, unless I didn't need a side piece, then I would play long toss. But usually once between starts, I would air it out a little bit.
How far are we talking long toss?
About 200, 250 feet. Maybe stand at the left field line and throw it to where, say where Bradley is in center field now. But I was blessed with a good arm. I remember my senior year in high school, they had the president's physical fitness thing, and they asked us to throw a softball. And I went on one side of the football field and threw it through the goal post on the other side. And if I pitched 9 innings when I was younger, Calvin Griffith used to be mad at me because I'd come out the next day and throw batting practice to Harmon Killebrew's kid and Chris Perry and Harmon's boys. And they say, get off the mound. You're pitching in 3 days. So leave me alone, Mr. Griffith, the owner.
2 strikes to Hicks, who fouled one off his front leg.
But I think I was able to do that because I threw a lot as a kid. It wasn't always long toss, but it was just throwing the ball, whether it be a block wall or throwing, with my friends or throwing a tennis ball at my sister's, whatever it took.
Hicks rolls a base hit to right, and Florimone flies around second and goes to third.
That's a good at-bat right there by Hicks.
So the walk now a base hit, and the Twins have the same situation they had roughly in the 7th inning with 2 men on and nobody out. Danny Lehman, who has taken over behind the plate for the Twins, will hit in what was Mauer's place. Mauer leaving the ball game with a 1-for-3 night. And then it's Jonathan Goncalves in what was Willingham's spot.
Yeah, Lehman, a minor leaguer for the Twins, signed by the Twins in 2007 out of Rice University. Not much of a hitter in the minor leagues, a .228 career hitter in 6 minor league seasons.
And time called just as Aceves was breaking from the stretch.
Lehman, 27 years old, last year between AA and AAA. In the Twins organization, New Britain AA and Rochester, the AAA affiliate for the Twins.
Down and away a ball. Don Orsillo, Dick Bramer, and Bert Blyleven combining efforts here to bring the great baseball fans in the New England area and the great baseball fans in the upper Midwest a spring training telecast with things winding down here in Fort Myers. Total of 8 meetings between Boston and Minnesota. So far, Boston's won 4 of the first 5. Swing and a foul, 1-1.
Yeah, both these ball clubs, the Twins coming in, have played 30 ball games, 16-14 on the win-loss record, and Boston, they played 32 ball games, 15-16 with a tie in spring training.
Talking about some coaches for the Boston Red Sox you saw surrounding Ron Gardenhire, 2 of the new coaches for the Twins, Terry Steinbach and Tom Brunansky.
I'm going to ask you about Ron Gardenhire from afar. He's been fun to watch, one of the game's best managers, I think, and watching him over the years. And is he under more pressure headed into this season than he has been in the past, perhaps?
I think from the standpoint of his, he's in the last year of his contract. The Twins did not extend his contract. It wouldn't surprise me at all. There's a called strike. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Twins play better baseball. I don't know how that's going to translate in terms of wins and losses, but if they play better baseball, that the Twins might address that in
early
the
on
opening months of the season.
I hope so, for Gardy's sake. And there's a guy that took over for Tom Kelly in 2002. You know, Twins won the first 3 years he was a manager. They won 9 out of the, I think, 12 times that he's managed. The last couple of years have been frustrating. But, you know, you go through your ups and downs. I don't care who you are, but great manager right there. I see him. My crystal ball says I sign him to a 3-year contract.
Okay.
But I'm not Mr. Pollad.
I was going to say, it's easy to spend somebody else's money, isn't it?
Heck yeah. He's a good baseball man.
Twins have been very well represented by Ron Gardenhire on and off the field. And if the Twins ever did make a change, I suspect he'd be out of a job for about 15 minutes. He's very highly thought of around baseball. Swing and a miss. Lehman's gone on strikes, 1 away.
A good pitch right there by Aceves. He went with that sinker down and in. And watch the movement on this pitch right there. Look at that ball run in.
Almost hit him.
He's trying to miss away, and then he comes in and gets the strikeout. So a big strikeout for Aceves.
There's Jonathan Goncalves. Been in the low minors for the Twins for quite some time, getting a chance to play here at JetBlue. This is Goncalves' 8th year in the Twins organization from Venezuela.
Yeah, signed very young out of Venezuela. Last year, both single-A affiliates, Beloit and Fort Myers. Career .248 hitter in 7 minor league seasons.
And another Ask Bert question.
Batter, some chin music? Well, might have the right guy on the mound for that, but I don't know. Just, you want to work both sides of the plate. Believe me, I never went into a ball game ever wanting to hit anybody in that area. If you're going to pitch somebody or hit somebody, you're going to hit them more in the hip area. That's harder to get out of the way. Over my career, I did hit some players. Actually, I remember at Fenway Park one time I hit Rick Burleson in the helmet and came up the home plate, and I know it's kind of, but he was bleeding out of his ear, and I called Rick after the ball game. We grew up in Southern California together, and he wouldn't accept my phone call. I did not do it on purpose, believe me. To do that, the hitter has to freeze, and that's what Rick said later on, that he just froze. He lost the ball. But that's part of baseball, working both sides of the plate. And I learned at the very young age, sitting and talking to Don Drysdale in Anaheim when he did broadcasting for the Angels, California Angels back then, about working both sides of the plate, and he taught me a lot.
Seems a lot of guys have trouble working in today, the way the game is set up. It's almost...
Well, the umpire won't give you strikes inside, so, it depends on what the umpire will give you.
Goncalves with an RBI single to center. A big moment for the longtime minor league veteran, driving in Florimon. And it's a 3-1 ball game.
Yeah, Goncalves from Venezuela. He might be making some phone calls down there. Forget about that one that off the wall that got by me. I'm going to talk about the RBI single that I just got.
Dan Rolfing will hit now.
Right back up the middle, behind the back of Aceves in the center field. It's a 3-1 Boston lead.
Twins with 5 hits now, 3 of them against Aceves in an inning and a third. Rolfing entered the game as a pinch runner for Parmalee, who was the first batter Aceves faced, and Parmalee got a base hit.
Yeah, Rolfing can do some catching. We've seen him play first base, some outfield. 6 years in the minor league system for the Twins, a .242 career hitter.
Breaking ball snaps over. Getting ready for Easter on Sunday. It drifts wide, 2-1. Don, let me ask you this. The Red Sox had the collapse 2 years ago, and the season never really got going in the right direction last year at all. How important is it for the new manager, new coaches, and new roster for the Red Sox to get off to a good start this year?
Well, I would say it was huge, Dick. I mean, you look back the last 2 years, and the team has started the season 0-6, and even the team that really was extremely good until September 2 years ago got off to an 0-6 start. So this first road trip has been very difficult for the last 2 Red Sox teams, and certainly taking on New York and Toronto, not easy at all. But very important to get off to a good start and perhaps forget what has taken place here in the last year and a month.
Just short. And a double play. Rolfing narrowly clipped at first. It's an inning-ending double play. The Twins get a walk and a couple of singles in their game's first run. it's the same moon that's shining over New England and Minnesota. It just feels warmer down here, doesn't it? Great weather here today, and pretty cold back in Minnesota, I know. So take a look at the Red Sox schedule, and Don talked about the difficulty on the road that first week. And, well, I tell you, it's always tough at Yankee Stadium, and Blue Jays are picked by many to be a favorite to win the East.
Interesting to see John Farrell return to Toronto as well. He was not very well received in Dunedin, so I imagine Toronto will be even worse. Right. Returning to take on his Blue Jays once again. And the American League East, I don't know what you guys think, but certainly very much up in the air the way the Yankees are starting the season with so many injuries. They're going to, right out of the gate, pretty tough. Teixeira down, Granderson, Jeter not to begin the year, so they have some injury problems.
Tyler Robertson, the new pitcher for the Twins, a team that I think is going to be fascinating to watch this year, the Baltimore Orioles, because they had so many things go right for them last year, and they won so many close ball games. And it's rare that you, in successive seasons, win that many close ball games and extra inning ball games. So we'll see how Buck Showalter's team fares this year. 1-1 to Napoli, facing Robertson, who apparently has made this Twins roster as a third left-handed reliever, even though he has not pitched particularly well this spring. Alex Burnett, who'd been, as much as things have been in turmoil in the Twins pitching staff, kind of a fixture out of the Twins bullpen, but Twins decided yesterday to send Burnett down to their AAA team in Rochester, New York. And with that happening, Robertson getting a chance to make the team. Napoli is thrown out, one away. Stretch at first by Rolfing.
Well, Robertson will be another lefty out of that bullpen, along with Brian Dunsing, all trying to set up to another lefty, and that being Glenn Perkins, the closer. So 3 lefties in that bullpen. I don't think you can ever have enough lefties. Robertson, a big man, about 6'5", about 250, but throws a lot of breaking balls. We had him the other day watching him just slider, the old Sparky Lyle, slider. You wonder, get that olive, for the catcher has that olive between his fingers, and he can't get it out of it because it's just all sliders.
Strike one to Siriaco, right-handed batter, and Robertson in particular throws his slider to left-handed batters, and he'll have one next in Ryan Sweeney, who's in the on-deck circle.
I want to thank all the fans who are tweeting, watching this ball game.
Won't be long. The games will start counting. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Another question on Twitter for Bert.
If you are not a pitcher, how much should you long toss? You watch outfielders, especially outfielders in general. They play a lot of long toss. Some of the best arms in the game of baseball are from outfielders. So they play a lot of long toss. I think, again, the strength in your arm.
Siriaco hooks one, foul. And there's not much foul territory down that left field line. And we can't see any of it from where we sit, but we've had 2 in the last 2 innings that have found that sidewall.
Yep. And also, if you're infielders, just play long. Just get, stretch your arm out. That's basically what long toss does. No matter if you're a pitcher, catcher, infielder, outfielder, play long toss.
1-2 to Siriaco with Sweeney on deck. And a breaking pitch, slider in the dirt. 2-2.
Well, don't be surprised if he comes back with another one right here. Siriaco, 27 years old, with the Red Sox last year. Prior to that, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Red Sox very much like his versatility.
That hopped over the glove of Robertson, a ball not hit well at all. It trickles into center field for a 1-out single.
One guy will be on the Red Sox bench, and someone that they can use in many different capacities. Had a very good year last year off the bench.
That ball has to be caught right there, and you can see Robertson very upset at that. The ball not hit hard enough, but bounced over the glove of Tyler Robertson.
Well, Siriaco at first, and here is Sweeney. Don, is it fair to say that in regards to Boston outfielders, that the stock has risen over the course of March for Jackie Bradley Jr., and the stock has gone down for Ryan Sweeney?
Well, I would agree with you in the Jackie Bradley Jr. situation. I don't know if the stock on Sweeney has gone down entirely. I think the Red Sox knew what to expect from Sweeney after seeing him last year. He's a great big guy, does not have power, which is kind of an interesting thing for him. But defensively, he is good. He's vying for a spot with Mike Karp as they battle also. But Jackie Bradley Jr. has opened up a lot of eyes down here. I think it didn't surprise the Red Sox front office very much because they expected this from him, or John Farrell, because they expected this from him this spring. The question is, and this has been the remaining question, do you put him on the Major League roster if he is not going to play on an everyday basis, and does it get in the way of his development having the chance to play every day at AAA for the Pawtucket Red Sox? Now, at the beginning of the year, it clearly does, because David Ortiz is not going to begin the year in the roster, so you could see a scenario where Johnny Gomes would come from left field and be the DH, and you could play Jackie Bradley Jr., but if he is not going to play every day, does it make it sense for him to be here?
No, he has to play every day. When you have a young star like Bradley, he has to play. You cannot bring him up. You know that we talked about Parmley earlier. You know, a guy that needs to play every day to get the best out of his talents.
Both Bradley and Hicks for the Twins have had eye-opening spring trainings. The difference is there's a job open in Minnesota,
right?
And there's and there's not in Boston.
Right.
You know, the Twins were looking for a center fielder. The Red Sox were not. And good throw and picked him off.
Yep.
And Robertson nearly threw it toward the tarp.
Yep, he was leaning, but a high throw.
3-1 to Sweeney. And now a walk to the left-handed batter. First and second, one away.
Bert, how is it that pitchers have pinpoint control but have trouble throwing to bases? I've always wondered about that. There are a few guys like that.
Yeah, I know. Jim Cott himself, Kitty Cott told me, he won 16 Gold Gloves. He had a tough time when the ball was hit back to him to throw it to second base. He threw a lot of balls into center field. Here's a Gold Glove winner. So don't know.
Jackie Bradley Jr. with first and second man at first and second and one away. And Lehman will go to the mound. Don't know. I mean, it's still entirely possible that the Twins and the Red Sox could juggle the roster as we sit late in this final week. So there might be some importance in Robertson having a decent outing here. He's already given up a base hit on a 4-hopper up the middle, and now a walk to a left-handed batter. And another lefty in the box here.
Again, we talked about Hicks. He got a base hit in that at bat. Then I was talking about Hicks. Can he hit major league pitching? He got a base hit against Aceves, an established player. But you look at a guy like Bradley. What he played, Double-A last year, high Single-A, and like Hicks, do you rush him up? Hicks, like Dick mentioned, there's an opening. Bradley, no opening.
Off the glove of Escobar. And that will score Siriaco, and the runner Sweeney advancing to third.
Whatever the Boston Red Sox decide to do with Bradley, he has left an impression if they do send him down to play every day. My goodness.
Another play that could have been made here by Escobar as he got to the ball and had it bounce off the thumb of his glove.
Yeah, this is a ground ball between first and second. Escobar, you can see right there, that ball, easier said than done, could have been an out. But instead it's an RBI single for Bradley as Boston takes a 4-1 lead.
And now David Ross.
I would guess ideally, Bert, you'd like to see a guy graduate from each level if done the way you'd like from an organizational standpoint, a development standpoint, a guy do well at Double-A and Triple-A and graduate at each one of those levels before he gets here.
See, again, I'm from the old school. I've had, 21 starts in the minor leagues before I made my major league debut. So I always look at somebody, numbers don't lie. And if the numbers are there, I don't care if you play AA or AAA. If the numbers are there, you can play in the major league level. As long as you get to play every day. You can't bring this young talented kid to come up and then sit for a week and say, okay, you're going to play 2 days a week. That's not fair to him. And it's not fair to the organization.
1-0 to Ross. Nubbed, and Robertson will get the out at first. Another run will score, 2 away.
So Ross driving in his third run of the ball game, not hit sharply, but he gets the job done.
The risk you run if you're the Red Sox, if you promote Bradley, and whether he plays or he doesn't play, if he's overmatched up here, then you've got to rebuild his confidence somehow. And then the Twins, too, with Aaron Hicks. They made the decision to promote a guy who hadn't played above AA to be their starting center fielder. And Joe Madden was talking about that the other day, how ideally an organization can take their time with people and, if anything, make sure they're over ready for the next level. But very often now that doesn't happen. There's don't you, Bert, think that teams are more inclined to move someone up the ladder quicker than they used to?
Yeah, again, the pitching is not the way it used to be, I say, even at the minor league level. So you see some inflated numbers, but when you have a talented kid like Bradley, the bottom line is if he comes up, he has to play.
Iglesias, the batter, hooking one foul, 2 strikes. A couple of runs for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the 8th. Fisted to right field and through. Bradley around third. Here's a throw to the plate and a strong one, but sliding in is Bradley. So a base hit for Iglesias. And an RBI single, making it a 3-run inning.
Yeah, Evan Bigley coming up and making a nice throw home. But Bradley with a nice slide to score the second run of the inning. Excuse me, the third run of the inning. 6-1 Red Sox lead.
A frustrating inning for Robertson. The Red Sox haven't exactly hit line drive after line drive against him, but yet you look up and 3 earned runs, and so far 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits and a walk. And a breaking pitch for a called strike. And I got $1 that says that Robertson's going to throw another slider to Carp.
Don, are you on?
I'm on.
Okay. Oh, no, another slider.
That finally ends the inning. 3 more for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th. Now they lead the Twins 6-1. 3 outs.
6-1, the Red Sox have the lead over the Twins as we head to the top half of the 9th inning, and we are playing for the Mayor's Cup. If the Red Sox win,
that's an old picture.
They own this good-looking trophy.
No. There's duct tape involved in that trophy now.
I think now it looks like it's been dragged behind the team bus for the last 5 years when they've gone back and forth here.
Well, the Red Sox won it last year, 4-1 against the Twins so far this year, have a 6-1 lead, and I imagine the scene outside is starting to get fired up for the Mayor's Cup. 3 outs away.
I understand each member of the Red Sox, if they win it tonight, will get a chance to keep the Mayor's Cup.
Take it home
for a week.
Yeah,
you get a chance to keep it for a week. Yep.
Will they let the announcers take it for a week? Did you guys have it for a while? We didn't have it.
They don't let us do it. I don't know how the Red Sox handle it with you guys.
We didn't get it either.
You didn't get it. I think Jerry Remy has it.
He very well could.
He will not give it back. Well, Jeremy Kurt coming into relief. Hard hit ball.
One down, Pedro Siriaco. Long-range throw for the first out of the inning. Well, tonight's game has been a presentation of Fox Sports North and the New England Sports Network. Glad you've joined us. Red Sox and Twins head-to-head tonight from Fort Myers. 1 out in the 9th inning. Nate Hansen coming up here for the Twins. His first at bat of the night. And Jeremy Kurt in the game for the Red Sox. 49th round pick. Last year appearing in 29 games between High A Salem and Double A Portland. Also saw time with the Pawtucket Red Sox, so 3 classifications for him last year.
I like how the media guide for the Boston Red Sox says that he was the 49th pick in the 2008 draft in the 47th round, so that makes him 1,423rd pick overall.
Wow.
That's a lot of players. How could he not be in the big leagues? Good curveball right there, and he picks up a strikeout.
He's got 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Watch this breaking ball. Shades of
play Buckholz.
Yeah. Very nice.
0-2 down in the 9th inning. We have our final Ask Bert of the night question.
Like Bert and Ernie, here we go.
Do you miss setting your teammate's shoelaces on fire?
Of course
like that?
I do. And the other pranks, too. I miss being down in that dugout when I didn't have to pitch. So there's a lot of things, I always wanted to be a brain surgeon when I actually did grow up, if I ever grow up.
Still time.
And I thought I would maybe start with some retired ball players.
This one fouled off at the plate.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I don't like to score since we work for the Twins, but this has been fun.
Well, it's been fun to work with you guys tonight, and Leah Hextall along with us as well, and Fox Sports North and Nesson combining efforts tonight from Fort Myers.
We'll see you in early May, I guess, when we come to Fenway.
Is that the first time?
For a 4-game series.
Here's a fly ball out to right center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. And it'll be Sweeney who makes the catch out there and right. They combine, and the Red Sox come away with a 6-1 win. We will be back at JetBlue Park at Fenway South to wrap it up after this. Red Sox win it 6-1.